So, bhai, what do we have to understand in this chapter? First, we will understand what is life processes. Four life process which we have to study in detail: nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. Sath I'll make you do more than 30 previous year questions. The whole paper will be cleared from here. Chalo, bhai, let's start. The first thing, what are life process? Beta, those process which are important to live life, which are essential, with which our life is maintained, with which our life is sustained. We call those process life process. Those essential functions which are important to be done, like doing panchayat with your friend or talking about the girl sitting on the bench in front of you. These are not essential, beta. This is masti khori. Which are basic and essential functions which are important to get your life sustained, to get your life maintained. This process we call life process. The basic and essential function process performed by living organisms to maintain and sustain their life. The vital process to live a life. The basic process. Four life processes we have to study in this chapter: nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. We will study all the four in detail, but let's understand a little once what are all these. First of all, nutrition. By nutrition, food came in the mind. It's that beta. Nutrition means that how does an organism obtain its food. What do you mean by obtain? Like with people, how do we obtain our food? Mummy, make a paratha. This is the simple way. How does a lion obtain his food? It hinds. How do plants obtain their food? They stand in the sunlight with the open arms like this. The sunlight they will take, carbon dioxide they will take water, and with that, after photosynthesis, make food. It means different organisms obtain their food through different means. The same thing we have to study in nutrition. That how do different organisms obtain their food and they absorb it. Next is respiration. Respiration means we ate the food. What do we need from the food? We need energy. Break the food in tiny pieces and making energy from it. It is called respiration. Respiration, some people think inhaling and exhaling is respiration. No, beta, no. What is respiration? To breaking in tiny parts, and from it making energy. This is respiration. It is essential to make energy from food. It's basic process. It's a life process. Third thing is transportation. Now what is it? In our body, a whole transport system is running. A truck is carrying something from here. What is it carrying? What good is it carrying? See, bhai, you inhaled, you needs to breathe. Do your lungs need it? No, bhai. The whole of your body needs the breath. My brain needs the oxygen. Every cell of my brain needs oxygen. So now the oxygen which I took, it would be transported from where to where? From lungs, it's going to brain and to the feet. Every fingers of ours and each and every hair, each and every part of body needs the oxygen. Now different parts of the body making the waste. The cells which are inside the body is making the waste. Now every cell made some waste, and this waste is also known to be thrown out. So garbage car will come. Gari wala aaya ghar se kachra nikal. You also throw out your fed now. Who is like a waste? At the same gari. Tell me his name who is like waste. So by what happens? Cells put their waste, and what does blood do? It throws it out of the body. The same with the food we ate, the glucose, each cell needs that as well. Every cell needs the food, every cell is hungry. So the food also has to reach every cell. So transportation of a lot of different types of substance is going on inside the body. We have to study. Next is at last excretion. Excretion means party karna. No, that is ejection. That is different. In excretion, we have to study, of course, to take the waste material out of the body. But here we will talk mostly about the nitrogenous waste of urea and uric acid. So these four processes we have to study in detail. Let's start with nutrition. Chal bhai, it is fun. Now see, nutrition means how will an organism obtain its food. We divide this thing into the two classes. First we said autotrophic nutrition. Now what does an auto mean? Auto means something that happen on its own. So autotrophic nutrition means those animals which can make their own food. Like green plants. What do plants do by? They took the sunlight, carbon dioxide, took water from air, and in the presence of chlorophyll, photosynthesis, they made their own food. So the organism which can obtain, which can make their own food, are called autotrophic. So remember its example, green plants, and there one more, autotrophic bacteria, such a bacteria that makes its own food. It's written. Okay. Our next is heterotrophic. Now, what is the meaning of hetero? Who obtain the food from different ways? Heterotrophic means we are not able to make our own food like we are. Sir, we also make it. We go in the kitchen and make it. Are in any way. Not like the plants that we took an organic things from outside and made food. What do? We get some tree or plant or get the vegetables or go and kill the animal and obtain our food from that. It means that we depend on some other organisms to obtain our food. So heterotrophic means such organisms who can't make their own food, cannot make their own food. What are the examples? Human beings, animals. We to come under the animals. So these are heterotrophic. Now listen, in heterotrophic understood those who don't produce their own food. The human being, the cat, the dog, all of them are heterotrophic. Now we will divide heterotrophic in three more categories. Don't take tension. Heterotrophic means not to make one's own food. Three categories are made. One is holozoic, one saprophytic, one parasitic. Let's understand all three well. First, holozoic. Holozoic means beta those organisms which take some organic food. Organic means tree, leaves, animals, organism. Holozoic. From the outside take some organic food and internally digest it in the stomach. Sometimes organisms won't even have a stomach. It's okay. Internally they digest in their body. Holozoic, like us human being. We too are holozoic. What do we do? We took it from the outside. We ate the vegetable and digest. So obtaining food, I took an organic food from the outside. Organic food took it from the outside and digest it internally. Human beings, dogs, cats, all of them. But some of its example which they ask in the exams are amoeba and paramecium. Holozoic organism consume and internally digest organic food substance. Amoeba and paramecium, both of these single cell organism, unicellular organism, but they ask in the board that what is their mode of nutrition. So remember it, holozoic. They will ask in the board. It comes often. Next is saprophytic. Saprophytic means these are some such organisms which obtain their food from dead, rotten and decayed things. That if something is rotten, we'll get our food from it. For example, suppose this is a packet of bread and it's kept for many days. And one day you feel like having bread and butter, you took the bread. Oh, what is this? This is a fungus on the bread. What is this? Bread is rotten. So after rotting, what came on the bread? What get on the bread? Beta? Fungi. It's bread mold. So there are some fungi which do what? Heterotrophic nutrition. Which name do you have to remember? Remember bread mold, remember yeast, remember mushroom. What do they feed on? On the dead and decaying matter. On the dead, rotten, decaying things. Third is parasitic nutrition. They are very smart. They say neither we will bring our food from anywhere nor we will make it. You make our food. They catch a host. They catch a host and say either we will stick to your body or get inside of your body. They will stuck. Either they will stick on body externally or get inside internally. And from your food, they will get theirs. For example, the lice that infest the hair. Girls would know lice in long hair. What is lice, beta? Lice. What is it, beta? It's a parasite. It has stuck onto you, your hair, onto your head and is obtaining its food from you. These also harm the host. This will cause harm. They are drinking your blood. Like you must have seen, they come in the rain. Leech came and stuck to the skin. The leech came and stuck to the skin. It's sucking your blood. These are called parasites. And this is called parasitic nutrition. Remember the examples, leech, lice, and one more important example, plant, cascata plant. Now look, this is very important, cascata plant. Cascata. Now, usually plant make their own food, but this is a special planet of plant is cascata, which does not make its own food. It is a parasite. Why? Because it does not have chlorophyll. And to make its own food, to perform photosynthesis, it should have chlorophyll. So cascata does not have chlorophyll. That is why does it become parasite. So do you understand parasitic? You must have a friend, an absolutely excellent parasite. He never brings anything of his own. Came to school, bhai, there's a pen, give me the pen. Bhai, there's a coffee, give me the coffee. Bhai, there's an extra t-shirt, I have to go with the girl, give me t-shirt. Bhai, do you have 10 rupees? I will give you back. He never returns the money. Come in the name of such a friend like this. This beggar never returns the money. I have them too, yaar. They never return. Maybe I myself was like that. Oh God, what I'm telling you. Okay, understood. Come on, jokes aside. Come, let's look at question. So look, this question came in the board 21, 2017. Either this exact question or similar question. Which of the following organism exhibits saprotrophic nutrition? So you remember the saprotrophic means the dead and decaying matter one. So this won't be it. Amoeba is holozoic. Mushroom remains dead and decaying. Paramecium is also what? Holozoic. Which of the following organisms show parasitic mode of nutrition? Parasitic, by what is this? It is holozoic. This is not, this is cascata plant. What was the cascata plant? Parasitic. It doesn't have chlorophyll. Now we will study autotrophic nutrition. Make your own food. The biggest example of this is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, whatever I teach in the next 2 pages, from here, your board exam question will definitely come. Take in writing. I said in the last time, it came even then. It is guaranteed. Now look, what is the photosynthesis? The process by which green plants make their own food. Now to make your own food, green plants need 4 important things. And this is asked in the board. Condition necessary for photosynthesis. 1, sunlight is needed. Second, there is pigment, chlorophyll, which the plants has. Carbon dioxide is needed. They'll take it from surroundings. And water is needed. Water from their roots. So the 4 things that are necessary for photosynthesis: sunlight, a pigment, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide, and water. Here is the reaction for photosynthesis. You should remember this, beta. And to remember it with balancing, it will be easy. What is the reaction? Carbon dioxide, the plant absorbed from the surroundings. Water came from the roots. Now the reaction between these two will occur in the presence of sunlight. And be sure to write chlorophyll above the row. Now food has to be made. Food has to be made. What is food? Glucose. C6H12O6. So glucose is formed. Here there are 12 water molecules. Take 6 water molecules out here. Here you can see 6 CO2. Take 6 O2 from here and put it outside. This is the reaction. Remember the reaction by. Now they ask sometimes in the exam for 3 steps of photosynthesis. So what are the 3 steps? Let's understand. First step, absorb the sunlight. Who absorbs it? The pigment, chlorophyll. So absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll. This is the step number 1. Second step, here we have to carry out a chemical reaction. What do we have? Light energy. So this light energy we will convert into chemical energy. And from that chemical energy, this water molecule we will split. What is water made of? Hydrogen and oxygen. So we will split it into what? Hydrogen and oxygen. We split it. Okay. This is step number 2. Conversion of light energy to chemical energy. And splitting of water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. Third step, this oxygen came out as it is by. This hydrogen will reduce carbon dioxide. What is reduction? Addition of hydrogen. So hydrogen went and added to this here. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. What will it form? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Glucose. C6H12O6. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Carbohydrate. So step 3, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. That means glucose. So 3 steps. First, absorption of sunlight. Who will do? Chlorophyll. Second, change this light energy into chemical energy. Well, the energy to break the water, split hydrogen and oxygen, release the oxygen. Third step, this hydrogen will reduce carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, carbohydrate, glucose. So by remember these 3 steps. Now listen, sometimes in the exam ask where does the photosynthesis takes place? So you will say it takes place in the leaf. But inside the leaf, where inside the cell? So remember this site of photosynthesis, a chloroplast. What is chloroplast? It is a cell organelle. Just like we have organs, the cell has organelles. Like you must have seen mitochondria, ribosomes, lysosomes, all these, right? There is some similar cell organelle, chloroplast. Now the pigment we studied, chlorophyll, that is inside that very chloroplast. So chlorophyll is present in the green colored organelle called chloroplast inside the plant cell. Acha. This chloroplast is the reason why the leaves color is green. The leaves are green because they contain chloroplast. If they ask in the exam, in which organelle photosynthesis is happening, then the name of an organelle is chloroplast. But if they ask in which organ photosynthesis is happening, organ. So which organ of the plant? Leaf. Photosynthesis is happening in the leaf. And what is present in the cells of the leaf? Chloroplast. So if they ask for the organelle, it's chloroplast. If they ask for the organ, in which organ is photosynthesis happening? Leaves. Okay. Next comes carbon dioxide. How will they absorb carbon dioxide? So the leaf of the plant, there are small holes in the leaf. There are small pores. Those pores open up like this, and when they open, they absorb carbon dioxide. It is simple. So these small pores are called stomata. What is stomata? Stomata, tiny pores present on the surface of the leaf. Look here, this is visible here. This pores, what is visible, is called stomata, the tiny pores on the surface of the leaf. Now, how will this stomata open? How they will close? Pay attention to this. So there is a guard cells. What is a guard cells? It stands like a guard. What do guards do? They move away from the door like this. The door opens, they come back, door closes. So what is the job of the guard cell? To control the opening and closing of stomata. It is asked in the exam. Opening and closing of stomata regulated by guard cell. So guard cells are the ones that oversees the opening and closing of stomata. Now, how do guard cells work? Listen carefully. Small pores on the leaf surface. What is it called? Stomata. These guard cells are visible side by side. They look like rajma like this, right? Like a kidney, like a bean. Yes, like rajma. So these are our guard cells. Now what happens? That the plants absorb moisture from the surroundings. It absorbs water. Now when the plant absorbs moisture, what will happen? It will swell. So the guard cell absorbs water, absorbs H2O. And what happened? It swelled. When it swelled, the guard cell opened. If it opened, the carbon dioxide came inside it. So now carbon dioxide will go inside it. Now by a lot of carbon dioxide has come in. Now it needs to be closed. So in closing, what? These guard cells, the guard cells next to stomata, these guard cells will lose water. If they lose water, they will shrink. They will shrink. If they shrink, the stomata closes. H2O lost, shrink and closed. What will shrink? Guard cells. So remember, this opening and closing of stomata is controlled by guard cell. Absorbs water, swells, opens. Lose water, shrinks and closes. So this is done by our carbon dioxide. Next thing is water. Where will water come from? Water comes from the soil through the root. They take it from the soil. But along with water, many minerals also come up. Nitrogen, phosphorus, all these also come up. But minerals are also needed by the plant by. So we both need it. So what all comes up? Phosphorus comes, magnesium comes, nitrogen comes, iron comes. All these minerals are also along. Remember one thing, nitrogen comes only and only in the form of nitrates and nitrites. Nitrogen is taken in form of nitrate and nitrites only. Only nitrogen of this form is available. We got carbon dioxide, we got water too. Now understand one thing, the food that the plant made, what did it make? What did it make? It made glucose. This glucose that is made, now plants going to store it. Some was used for energy, some it stores. So plants who stores it in the form of starch it stores. And plants food means glucose is stored in the form of starch. Remember, how was the glucose that was made stored? Starch. We beta, the food we eat, we also have to store it. We also have to save it. How do we store it? As glycogen. How? Glycogen. And animals, we are also animal. It is stored in the form of glycogen. How do we store it? Like a glycogen. How do plants store it? As starch. Okay. Look at one more thing. If we talk about desert plants. Now desert plants do not open their stomata in the broad light. Why not? Why? Water is not there. Sand is there below in the desert. So there is no water supply from soil. We open like this and there is sun above. So water which had lived, that is gone. So desert plant said, we will not open stomata in daylight. We will open in night. So desert plants only open their stomata in the night time, takes the carbon dioxide inside them and close it. And they start photosynthesis with this carbon dioxide in the morning when there is sunlight. This is written, photosynthesis in desert plants. Daytime, stomata remains closed to conserve water. They keep stomata closed during daytime. Nighttime, stomata opens, absorbs CO2. They open in the night, carbon dioxide. In the day, this stomata won't open, otherwise water will be lost. Water will be lost through the same opening. CO2 taken at night used to prepare glucose in daytime. CO2 that they got in night is used for photosynthesis when the sunlight is in daytime and food is prepared. So they open stomata only in night, not in daylight. All right. Okay. Okay. Look at the question CBSE 2021, 22, 23, 24. Either it's exact similar question. What is photosynthesis? Identify the organelle and the organs where it occurs. Explain the process using the balance equation and state the source of the oxygen released during this process. First of all, what is photosynthesis? So I told this, a process by which green plants prepare food in the presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide, water and chlorophyll. Then it is asked us, in which organelle does it occur? Chloroplast. And which organ does it occur? Leaf. Same it is. Identify the organelle and organs where it occurs. So the organelle is chloroplast and the organ is leaf. It asked reaction. We wrote the reaction here. Here at 6 or 2 also. It is balanced. After that, source of oxygen. They asked what is source of oxygen. Do you remember how oxygen was released? This water broke like this into hydrogen and oxygen. So the source of oxygen released is the splitting of water molecules in hydrogen and oxygen. How? By which we change the light energy into chemical energy. Let's go by. Next is two activities. Question asked from these two. One is variegated leaf experiment. What is this? Suppose we took a leaf. You must have seen this leaf, which is green at some parts and some yellow and some white, etc. We have seen this leaf. Or they also attach in a plant such leaves, isn't it? Trees are such leaves in which some part is green and sometimes it's not. Now listen, wherever it is green, there is chlorophyll. Where there is chlorophyll, food will be prepared. Wherever food is prepared, it will be stored in form of starch. So what will we do in this experiment? We will sink this leaf into iodine solution. And which solution do we sink it? Iodine solution. It is the property of iodine that it reacts with starch to give blue-black color. Blue-black color with starch on green side. What does iodine do? As it reacts with starch, it will give blue-black color. Now tell me, if I sink this leaf into iodine, then where will be blue-black color? Where there will be starch. Where will be the starch? In only green parts. Food will be prepared at green parts, and where food is made, plant stored food in the form of starch. There it will be stored. So we put this leaf into iodine, then we will see that only green parts will change to blue-black color and the rest will not turn into blue-black. So what does it, this experiment proves? This proves that green means chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis. They had not been green, there had been no chlorophyll. If there is no chlorophyll, no food will be prepared, then there will be no starch. Alright, so what is it proving? Starch is present at green sites only, proving chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis. Starch test is not positive anywhere else. Everywhere starch test is negative. Only these places turned into blue-black color means starch is here, means food is prepared here, means chlorophyll is here. So only green parts have chlorophyll, and where there is chlorophyll, food is prepared there. So chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis. We do one more thing in this, that we wash it in water, boiling water. One more thing is done, we wash it once in boiling alcohol too. So that color became light. So that blue-black color appears easily. It shouldn't be that there is any dark color. So we wash it with alcohol, such things, so that color fades and the blue-black color appears clearly. Second experiment is your bell jar or glass jar experiment. What do we do in it? We took a glass jar. We put a plant with pot inside it. Nice plant it is. Poured some water in the pot and put the plant inside. Now the glass jar is tightly closed. We applied Vaseline from below, and after applying Vaseline, put it closed like this so that no air could enter inside it. What are we cutting off? We are cutting off carbon dioxide. Now I put it into sunlight. And after some time I took a leaf of it and I put its leaf into iodine solution. Now tell me, what will turn into blue-black? Do comment and tell. Do comment and tell what will be turned into blue-black. It will not happen. Why? Because carbon dioxide is not supplied. Carbon dioxide not supplied lead to no photosynthesis. If photosynthesis didn't happen, then food was not prepared. If food was not prepared, then starch was not stored. If starch not made, then no blue-black color will come with iodine. So this experiment shows that carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. This shows chlorophyll and this shows carbon dioxide. We do one more thing in this. We put a plate here, and put some potassium hydroxide on it. KOH. What does it do? If there is already any carbon dioxide inside the jar, KOH absorbs that. KOH in jar to absorb any carbon dioxide present. We put potassium hydroxide so that if there is any carbon dioxide, we absorb that. We have to check if starch can be prepared without carbon dioxide. So we saw that it will be not met. Conclusion, carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. No blue-black color seen. Alright. Look at the question CBSE 24, 23, 22, 2020. Either this or the similar question is asked. What is in it? A student set up the experiment, the bell jar one, put potassium hydroxide, etc. in it. What is it asking? What is the role of KOH in this experiment? What is it? To absorb carbon dioxide, absorb any carbon dioxide present in jar. Why is the plant kept in sunlight after setting up the apparatus? Why do we put in this sunlight? Why? We have to prove that photosynthesis doesn't occur without carbon dioxide. So we have to fulfill any other condition to give sunlight, to give water, and to chlorophyll. So to provide sunlight so as to make sure that all other conditions for photosynthesis are satisfied. What result will confirm that CO2 is necessary for photosynthesis? What such thing was seen? What was the result that confirmed you that CO2 was necessary? What do? You put in sunlight, you got sunlight, and got water from the pot, chlorophyll was already there. Then after some time you pluck a leaf of it and put in the iodine solution, and you saw that there was no blue-black color. After few hours, if we test leaves with iodine solution, they don't turn blue-black, proving no starch is formed and hence no photosynthesis occurred. Clear? Let's go. Next beta we are going to study heterotrophic nutrition. We just said autotrophic. Plants are making their own food. Isn't autotrophic photosynthesis on their own? Now come to heterotrophic and we will read holozoic. I told you to remember two examples in holozoic. Question are asked in exam: amoeba and paramecium. Come, let's understand. These are very simple. Amoeba is an unicellular organism, an organism with single cell. It can be in any shape. This. It can be in any shape. Means you think the shape of amoeba like God made your friend's face. Without thinking of any wrinkle, didn't put any effort. As he was being made, he made it. There must be one of your friend whom God look like this one. Go away soon, bye. After that, God made your crush face slowly and patiently. Yeah. So amoeba beta is an unicellular organism which can be of any shape. Single cell organism. What does amoeba do? As it sees the food around it, from it like this to finger-like extension comes out. Finger-like extension. These are called pseudopodia. What is it called? Amoeba takes in food using temporary finger-like projections of the cell surface. Pseudopodia. Do remember this pseudopodia. What is it? Temporary finger-like extension. It projects like this. Pseudopodia. It saw this food particle. What emerged from amoeba like this? Pseudopodia. It catches the food and bring to itself food vacuole and create a space food vacuole. And it puts the food in it. It releases enzymes in that food vacuoles. What do enzymes do? They break food, break and make it into small pieces. They make it very, very small. So the food gets absorbed. Then it's in full cytoplasm. Cytoplasm means the whole area of it. It's fluid. Food start getting absorbed in it. And the food that it doesn't require, that is waste, is removed from its cell surface. So look what happened. Food particle came, it emerges temporary finger-like projection, pseudopodia, and catches this. Look inside what it is made of. Food vacuole like this. Here it releases enzymes. It broke food into small parts. It was complex substance. What it ate from outside, any food particle, any living organism, whether food it was it, complex. It broke that into smaller substance. Then it's absorbed in the cytoplasm. Then whatever waste was left with the cell surface, throws it out. It comes in exam amoeba's full notation. Which notation it is memorized? Holozoic nutrition. Holozoic means take food from outside and digest intermediate. Taking food from outside and digesting it internally. Alright. So food vacuoles are formed, enzymes are secreted, which breaks down complex substance to simpler substance. Absorption of digested food in cytoplasm by diffusion. What happened in all cytoplasm? It got diffused food. Undigested food moves to cell surface and thrown out. Remember one more thing, that this pseudopodia, it helps amoeba to get it moving. In the movement also, it helps. Also helps in movement of organism. Second unicellular organism is paramecium. This too is a single cell. How did God make it? In the shape of slipper. Its shape is fixed. Its shape is fixed. Shape of slipper. Don't say that one of my friend's face is like a slipper. Don't say that, yeah, our friend's face is like a slipper. Yeah, please. Do you have such friend? Please, yeah, please. Are yaar, what kind of things are you making? Don't say this. My own face is so ugly. Nutrition is paramecium. What is paramecium? This is also a single cell organism, but its shape is fixed. What is the shape like? Like a slipper. Its shape is like a slipper. How will you remember it? Para, so slipper in pair. So what's the difference between amoeba and this? Amoeba can be in any shape and its shape fixed. Second, like here a temporary finger-like projection, pseudopodia came out. Here it has some hair. See around here some hair is like hair-like structure. It is called cilia. Cilia, sir, must be pretty. Abbe, it's hair. You melt everywhere here. How singer have you become? Cilia. The cell has a definite shape like slipper. Food is moved to a specific spot, vacuoles, by the movement of cilia. Hair-like structure. What do these hair-like structure do? They hold the food and take it to a specific spot. Here. What is this? Food vacuole. This food vacuole. Take it to specific place. In amoeba, it absorbed and there a food vacuole was formed. See the difference? In amoeba, it absorbed and formed it there. Here food goes to the specific spot, which is vacuole. Then some enzymes are released, the food is broken and then absorbed, and then waste goes out. Pay attention. The cilia helps in the movement. Because of hairline extension, they can walk. And this, because of finger-like projection, pseudopodia, we can walk. Clear? These are both of your amoeba and paramecium. What are the example of holozoite? See what question has come in 2023. Name the type of nutrition exhibited by amoeba. Which one? Holozoic it is. Now explain how food is taken in and digested by the organism. So we told the whole story that we took the food from pseudopodia, food vacuole, enzymes were released, food broken, absorbed in cytoplasm, and then will go out to surface. Differentiate between amoeba and paramecium based on mode of nutrition and locomotion. 24, 22, 20, 19. So many times this or a similar question has been asked. Difference. On what basis? Mode of nutrition. Or a mode of nutrition in both is same. It's holozoic, but what does amoeba do it with? With pseudopodia, finger-like projection, bring food. What does a paramecium do it with? Hair-like structure. It brings food through cilia. So holozoic takes in food using finger-like extension. Holozoic food is moved to a specific spot using hair-like structure, cilia. Acha, what is in it? It takes food and forms a food vacuole anywhere. What does it do in this? A food vacuole is present. It takes it to a specific site. Locomotion. How do they move? Movement. So amoeba with the help of pseudopodia, this with the help of cilia. Come on, bye, let's move on. Next comes nutrition in human beings. This is to what? Heterotrophic. These two are holozoic. If someone asks that what are we beta, we are to a holozoic. And humans, we actually have to understand the whole digestive system. From this page, 110% a question will come in the exam. 120% of question will come. Take it in writing, a question will come from this one page. Let's start the story. This story is about the eating food and digest it and of it going into the blood. Let's start. Chalo. So we took the figure of a human being. First of all, what happened? We ate the food with the teeth, broke it. So the first thing is teeth. Crushing, cut food in small pieces. What is the first thing? Our teeth. What did they do? We crush the food and cut into small pieces. Okay. Next, what we do? First of all, our teeth cut the food. Okay. Now say, the teeth cutting the food, role of our tongue comes in. What does the tongue do? It mixes the saliva in the food. Mixes the saliva. This saliva is very useful. You think the saliva is coming in the mouth, it's bad. Are beta, it's very useful. So what is the use of saliva? How bad does it sound? What's the use of saliva? So see, we have here, there are some glands here. These are called salivary glands. What are they called? Salivary glands. Now, what do the salivary glands do? They secrete saliva. Secrete saliva. Now, saliva and saliva contains enzymes. Now, this saliva has a special enzyme, salivary amylase. You have to remember the name. What? Salivary amylase. There is an enzyme in our saliva, salivary amylase. We think that food gets digested here. Food start to get digested from here. As soon as the saliva got mixed in the food, saliva released enzymes, salivary amylase. What does it do? The complex food that you had, the starch that you ate, by what do we eat? We eat tea in plants, generally vegetable, fruit, broad, tree plants. So what is in that? The stored food of plant. Stored food of plant is starch. So the starch that we eat is complex. What does the saliva do with it? It breaks it into a simple substance. It makes it a simple sugar. So saliva contains enzyme, salivary amylase, which breaks down starch, complex carbohydrate to simple sugar. Tongue makes food with saliva and helps in swallowing. What's the function of tongue? To mix the saliva with the food and helps to swallow the food. So here are salivary glands. What comes out of them? Saliva. There is a particular enzyme in the saliva, salivary amylase, whose function is complex carbohydrates, the leaves and cauliflower that you are eating, the vegetable fruits you are eating, the starch in it, the complex carbohydrate, to break it and convert into a simple substance. Acha. So by this thing is then it's converted into a simple substance. Now the food went inside. Next, the thing that come is your food pipe. What came? Food pipe. This is called esophagus. Next is your esophagus. Spelling with O. Some people write it with E. Well, esophagus. What is this thing? Your food pipe. Now, beta, what is the function of the food pipe? The function of the food pipe is to regulate the movement of food. Regulate the movement of food. Suppose you ate food. Suppose whatever you ate a little anything small, anything, you ate potato. Upon eating potato, dham, fell down. Do you hear a sound? No. If the pipe was that straight, then as soon as you are jump like this, What does it do? It regulates the food, movement of the food. It does the peristaltic movement. You will have to remember this. Peristaltic movement. What is peristaltic movement? It's a rhythmic movement. What is it? Expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction. The food, slowly reaches the stomach. Not like the Alakh and the food falls down. What does the esophagus do? It does the peristaltic movement. Which movement? Peristaltic movement. Contraction, expansion of wall of food pipe pushes food into stomach. Regulate movement of food to stomach. What does it do? Regulate movement of food to stomach. Peristaltic movement, expansion and contraction of food pipe. So see, this is your esophagus. It's going esophagus. This is your food pipe. Now like this, the food came where? In the stomach. Where is the stomach? Like we made it circular. Your friends must be circular, right? So you make the stomach circular, but the stomach is not circular. Beta, this is stomach. Arey sir, how is it looking, sir? Ugly. It's not ugly. It's just like that. This beta is your stomach. This is your stomach. Stomach. It's here. Now, what's the function of stomach? Inside the stomach, beta, it forms the gastric juice is formed. So inside the stomach, there is gland, which is gastric gland. So this is your stomach. There is a gland in the stomach. Which one? Gastric gland. What is released from the gastric gland, beta? Gastric juice is released. Gastric juice. You must have heard gastric juice sometimes. Gastric juice. In the gastric juice, there are three things. The most important thing that you have to remember is that gastric juice has acid, HCl. In the stomach, but a lot of HCl is a very strong acid. So the food went in your stomach. First of all, what is there in stomach? Gastric gland. From that gastric juice is released, and then what's in it? HCl. What did the HCl do? It made an acidic environment. It made an acidic environment. For whom? For someone who is about to come. There is a hero who would come, who would digest the food, whose name is pepsin. So it said that for welcoming the pepsin, I will make an acidic environment. So an acidic environment was created. Second thing, what else does the HCl acid do, beta? Kills the germs. It kills the bacteria and germs. So in the stomach, there is gastric gland from which gastric juice is released, in which there is hydrochloric acid. Creates acidic medium for enzyme pepsin. Pepsin is about to come. Pepsin is waited for. And for that acidic medium is created. For pepsin to arrive, an acidic medium is made. The pepsin will come now. And kills bacteria and germs. Acha, now the one who we are talking about has come. Who? Pepsin. What is pepsin, beta? It's an enzyme which digests the protein. The food that went inside. The protein in it, pepsin digests that. Pepsin. Okay. Third thing which is there in the gastric juice. First is HCl. Who made that acidic medium? For whom is the acidic medium made? For whom? Pepsin. Pepsin came. Pepsin side is the acidic medium made? Yeah. Now I'll digest all the protein, and it digested the protein. Third thing which is there, beta, it is a mucus. Mucus, doesn't it came from the nose and all? Mucus, what is the function of mucus? Or your acid is formed in the stomach. Now the lining of your stomach, it can be burnt, it can be damaged, that can be sensation in them. There can be swelling, it can be burned. Nah? So what does mucus do? Protects the inner lining of the stomach. What's the function of mucus? Protects the inner lining of the stomach from acid. From acid, it protects the inner lining of the stomach. Okay. So the food came inside the stomach. Acid is released. Acidic medium is made. What happened along with it? Pepsin came. What did the pepsin do? Digested the protein. You will have to memorize it. You have to memorize all things. I'm explaining, but you will have to learn it. Yes. So what did pepsin do? It digested protein. There is one more thing, mucus. What did it do? It protected the inner lining. Mucus comes out of the nose, that kind of slimy thing. So what did the mucus do? It covered the whole thing. It told the inner lining, I won't let you burn from the acid. Acha. Now food goes to the small intestine after your stomach. Where? Small intestine. Small intestine. So the food went from here into this. Into what? This thing visible in the middle. This is your small intestine. Now where did your food go? This into thing. This. What is this? This is your small intestine. This is very long, beta. It is small, but it's very long. It is 7 meter. A very long small intestine. Very long small intestine. What is this? It is a long coiled tube. What is it? Long coiled. Coiled, longest part of alimentary canal. Now you will say, sir, what is the alimentary canal? Now you will say, sir, what is the alimentary canal? Beta, this food you ate, it goes from here through the food pipe into the stomach, and after the stomach into the small intestine. After this, it goes into large intestine. After that, it comes out of your NSS body. Okay. This entire system, the system is very tight. This whole system is a single tube. If I were to take out your digestive system and straighten it like this, it will be single tube. We will call this single tube alimentary canal. So alimentary canal starts from your mouth and ends at, I can't show it now. I'll show it later, then you will laugh, you will make a meme. I might write there. Alimentary canal starts from your mouth and ends at your, meaning it starts from your mouth, and I can't say it in Hindi, yes. Starts at your mouth and ends at your anus, yes. Okay. It's an entire single tube from the mouth, esophagus, then after the stomach, then small intestine, large intestine, anus. The longest part of the whole system, alimentary canal, single tubes, is the smallest intestine. Now, what is the job of the small intestine? Take care of one thing. Maximum digestion and maximum food absorption take place in the small intestine. If a question ever comes in the exam, in which organ does food digestion and absorption takes place? Right, small intestine, always. And stomach is also happening in the large intestine, liver. The liver is another job. Anyway, small intestine. So what will you say? Site of complete digestion and absorption of food. The site of complete digestion and the absorption site is called small intestine. Okay. Now the small intestine is the CEO of company, meaning the owner. It has kept two servants to do the work. The first servant is your liver. The second servant is your pancreas. It takes some kind of juice from them. With the help of that juice, it digests the food. What is its job? The small intestine job, to digest the food. The most main job is to digest food and absorb it. So it has two servants, who? Liver and pancreas. It takes juice from them. With their help, it digests the food. So now we will have to talk about its two servants, the liver and the pancreas. So let's move towards the liver, beta. Where is the liver? Can you see this? This is your liver, beta. Okay, this is your liver. Now a particular juice is secreted inside the liver, which we call bile juice. That goes and gets stored in the gallbladder. And what? In the gallbladder. So what does the liver release? Secretes bile juice, which is stored in gallbladder. It gets stored in this. Okay. Now what does this bile juice do? Look, what happened in the stomach? Acid got mixed into the food. So bhai, there is a lot of acidity in the stomach. There is burning sensation. The liver saves us from that. Beta, what does the liver do? The bile juice it gives creates an alkaline medium. It reduces acidity. So what is the first thing it does? Makes acidic food coming from stomach alkaline. First of all, what is the bile juice doing? It makes the acidic food alkaline. It makes it a little basic. What is the second thing it does? It breaks the big molecules of fat and makes them into small molecules. This is called emulsification of fat. Emulsification of fat breaks down fats into smaller globules. It breaks them into small globules. Then what will happen? Look, if there are small globules, the surface area will increase. So the enzyme will be able to act on it more efficiently. If I give you such a big sphere, how many enzymes can stick on it? This many. And if I break this, break it, then it becomes small parts. The inner part comes outside of this big sphere of fat. The inner part also come outside. Now enzymes can stick on that too. So what happens? It increases the surface area for the enzymes to do act on fat. So emulsification of fats into smaller globules. And the second one makes the acidic food coming from the stomach alkaline. This liver gives its juice, bile juice, to intestine. Take it by, do whatever you want. And where is this bile juice stored? Where? In the gallbladder. Whom did it give it to? To the intestine. Not itself. It's not happening here. Nothing here. Where all this juice will come? In the intestine. Who is the second servant? Pancreas. Where is the pancreas, sir? Here it is. This. It looks like a banana. It is visible. Why or not? This is your pancreas. Yes, this one. This is the pancreas. Now the pancreas also have a juice, which it gives to the small intestine. The juice that pancreas has is called pancreatic juice. What is it called? Pancreatic juice. Pancreas. So pancreatic juice. So you have to remember two things in this. One thing is that pancreatic juice is pepsin, and one is lipase. What is thing? Pepsin and lipase. Sorry, trypsin and lipase. Pepsin was here. Trypsin and lipase. Yes. Now look, why did the pepsin come out of the mouth? I'll tell you. Because the function of the both is same. The function of both is same. Look, what is in our stomach? What came out of the gastric gland? HCl, pepsin and mucus. What was the job of pepsin? Digestion of protein. Similarly, they have pancreas juice that comes out of inside the pancreas contains trypsin. Like pepsin, trypsin. Its job is also digestion of protein. Pepsin, trypsin sound like digestion of protein. What second thing comes out? Lipase. What does that do? The fat was broken down into small pieces. They break that down even more. Breaking down of emulsified fat. The fat that was broken down, they break that down and make it smaller. So by we understood that when food reaches our small intestine, The small intestine takes two types of juices from its two servant. What does it take from liver? Bile juice. What does it take from pancreas? Pancreatic juice. What does bile juice do? Make the food alkaline and breaks the fat. What is the pancreatic juice? Trypsin, which will digest protein, and lipase, which will break fat into smaller pieces. Now complete digestion of food has happened here. Now its absorption has to take place. By the food has been digested. Food is digested. Now what will happen? Absorption. When food is digested, you have to remember three things that will happen in the small intestine. You have to remember three things. Food digested. What thing become what? We have to focus on three things inside the food. We have to focus on protein, focus on fat, and carbohydrate. So how will you remember? I'm telling you simply F. Yes, I'll write it here. FCP. What do I write? FCP. What is it? Protein, carbohydrate, and fats. You have to remember these three things. FCP. Protein, carbohydrate, and fat. Now listen to what happens. So the protein inside the food, that is converted into amino acids. The carbohydrate inside the food, that is converted into glucose. And the fat inside the food, that is converted into fatty acid and glycerol. What is FCP? What fat was converted into what? Fatty acid, glycerol. FCP. C. Carbohydrate was converted into what? Glucose. P. Protein was converted into amino acid. Where this all happening? Inside the intestine. So the enzymes inside the intestine do exactly this. They digest protein, which the pepsin that was here in the stomach, the trypsin that came here from the pancreatic juice, what do? They digested protein. So what did they make by digesting protein? Amino acid. By breaking down the fat, what did they make? Fatty acid and glycerol. What was made by digesting carbohydrates? Glucose. So what you should remember? These three beta. Okay, now all these things are formed. Absorption has to happen. The food has been digested. Now it has to be absorbed. Where does it need to be absorbed? Into the blood. Glucose has to be going to blood. Only then will all our organs, all the cells get foods. Now to absorb the small intestine as a system, the name of the system is villi. What is the name? Villi. What are villi beta? On the inner surface of the small intestine, meaning the inner surface, it's a tube like this. This is the tube. On its inner surface, there are finger-like projections like this. What is it? Finger-like projections. This is called villi. Now look what happened with the finger-like projection is that more food can be absorbed. The surface area increase. Look carefully. One, yes. Now the surface area for absorption is only this much. If I made this, now it will be absorbed here too, it will here too, here too. It will happen here too, here too, here too, here too, here too. So overall, look, I increase the surface area for absorption. Earlier it was only this line. Now on this, pull this whole thing. Below this, pull it. It will be bigger. Now it's absorbed here too. So what are villi? They are finger-like projections where on the inside. They are on internal walls. And what do? They absorb the food. They increase the surface area. What do? They absorb the digested food. Now the villi are connected to blood vessels. Thin blood vessels. And what happens is that the glucose formed, it has now from your intestine, from your villi, diffused into the blood vessels. Inside the blood diffused and started. And this food started going. And now from here, the food went into the body. So lots of finger-like projection present on inner lining of small intestine. What are lots of? They are finger-like projections present on inner lining of small intestine. Increases surface area of absorption, supplied with blood vessels. Hence, digested food is absorbed and taken to all these cells of the body. Now it went to the blood and went to all cells of the body. Okay. Now listen to one thing. The food is cooked, food is digested, it has gone. Now the waste is left. So now from the small intestine, the food moves here and this big one in the large intestine. What is the function of the large intestine? One of its function is to take the waste out which is formed. Let's read its second function. Unabsorbed food sent to the large intestine absorbs more water from its material. What did it do? Suppose that you remove the waste from small intestine. I don't want it. The large intestine said there is a water in it. Let's take the water. Body needs it. What does it do? Absorbs more water from this material. The rest of the material is removed via anus. It said enough. Whatever water is there to be absorbed is done. Now remove rest by anal. Then where did the food go? It went into your anus. It went into your hole. It went from here. Remember one thing. The opening of the anus that controls by anus sphincter. Exit of waste material via anus is regulated by anus sphincter. So beta anus sphincter is that controlled by muscle cells. It's not like that or this thing. You're standing, talking to a friend. Hello brother, how are you? Why you pooped? No, right? Such movement is controlled by which thing? anus sphincter. What does it do? The whole of yours, it controls the opening and closing of it. It would happen while standing. Sir, it happens sometimes, sir. In school, in childhood, I pooped. Master has also pooped in school in childhood. Everyone has done it. Bhai, are jeeki. It happens in school. It's very embarrassing. Okay, anyways, is the whole story clear? So from this whole story, one question must come. You have to read it and also have to remember it. Okay, let's move ahead. Now see what question have come. Let's see the question. So CBSE 24, 22, 20, 20, these are similar question. State the role of the following in human digestive system. Hydrochloric acid, where is it formed? In the stomach. Where? In the gastric gland. In the juice of the gastric gland. What was its function? To prepare the acidic medium. For whom? Hero. For the pepsin. Second, to kill the bacteria and germs. So, creates acidic medium for enzyme pepsin and kills bacteria or germs. What the second one? Bile. Beta, bile juice. What did it do? Alkaline medium. What was the bile juice found? In the liver. Where did it come from? From the liver. Where is it? In the gastric gland, right? Okay. Now, what is the function of bile juice? To prepare the alkaline medium, the acidic food that has come from the stomach, to make it alkaline. What was the second function of the bile juice? Emulsification of fat, to break the fat into small pieces so that surface area increases and enzymes can attack. Bile makes acidic food coming from the stomach alkaline, and emulsification of fat breaks down fats into smaller globules. Third is pepsin. Pepsin, trypsin, wherever you see, what does it do? Digestion of the proteins. Where do you find pepsin? Here in the gastric gland. Where would you find trypsin? In the pancreatic juice. See one more thing. What happens in herbivorous? Their small intestine is very long. Carnivorous not that long. The question comes that why herbivorous has longer small intestine? By herbivorous means to eat tree and leaves, and tree and leaves have starch. Starch is a little difficult to digest because it is a complex carbohydrate. So it takes more work and more time to digest it. That is why small intestine of the herbivorous is longer. Longer small intestine for digestion of cellulose. Cellulose, which is hard to digest and requires more time to break down and get absorbed. So what do they have to absorb? The cellulose they have to absorb. They have to absorb the trees and leaves. To absorb, digest this, it takes more time and more labor. Longer small intestine for digestion of cellulose, which is hard to digest and requires more time to break down and get absorbed. That of the carnivores is a little smaller in their comparison because to digest meat comparatively easier than digesting the cellulose. So remember the word cellulose too. Let's move ahead. CBSE 2024, 2022, 20, they saw a similar question. In human beings, when the process of digestion is completed, the proteins, carbohydrate and fats are expectedly finally converted into, I told you na, remember this FCP, when the digestion is completed. Then what do they convert into? Where? In the small intestine. So the fat converts into fatty acid, the carbohydrate converts into glucose, and protein converts into amino acid. First of all, what is there? It is protein, so amino acid, then carbohydrate, glucose, the fat, fatty acid and glycerol. Here it is, okay. 2025, 23, 21, 23. So it's being asked in the board again and again. Which enzyme is secreted in the mouth and what does it digest? In the mouth, there was salivary gland, saliva analyze. What does it do? It digests the starch. So salivary amylase digests the starch. Clear? Come by. CBSE 2024, 22, 21, 20. The question has come again and again. What are villi? They ask question on villi. So what is villi, beta? Villi are your finger-like extensions. Where are they found? On the inner wall of small intestine. What happens with it? The surface area of absorption increases. What does it do? It absorbs the food. How do they help in absorption of food? All of that is stored. They are supplied with blood vessels, capillaries, through which absorbed food is supplied to the cells of body. Now see this. They have said that 1, 2, 3. See this part carefully. 1, 2, 3. What have they said? Tell me specific enzyme or juice which would be found on these locations. So here on 1, what will be found here? Salivary amylase. So the first is amylase. It can be one of these two. Where is the second part? My second part is liver. What is in the liver? Bile juice. What all release from bile juice? Bile juice. Liver. Where is this my second? On my liver. So bile juice. So bile juice is given. Okay, finish. And where is my third part? Third is pancreas. See carefully. It is visible. Third part. It is visible or not? What is my third? Pancreas, pancreatic juice. What is there in our pancreatic juice? Trypsin and lipase. So see here, trypsin is given. So this is option correct. Chal bhai, let's move ahead. We can do one more experiment to get this proved that enzyme in our saliva, whether they really break, that they really get the starch broken or not. What is the function of saliva analyze? To break the starch into simple things. So what do we do inside the test tube? We put saliva and spit on it. We put saliva. If saliva goes into the starch, what would it do? There would be enzyme in it, salivary amylase, which break down complex carbohydrates. It would break the starch into tiny pieces. If it breaks, then there is no starch. That if we put iodine into it, then would the starch test blue-black occur? No, because the starch is finished. So what did we see? No color change. We put iodine and no blue-black color was there. Starch not present. Why is it not present? What comes out of it? Salivary amylase, which broke the starch. Secondly, we took starch and put iodine into it. If we put iodine into starch, what would happen? Blue-black color shows starch is present. Conclusion, saliva causes breakdown of starch. What did the saliva do? It broke the starch. A question has also come about in CBSE 24, 23 or a similar questions come. What is the name of the enzyme found in the fluid of our mouth? Name of the enzyme, salivary amylase. And which gland produces? Salivary gland. Explain the action of saliva on food with the help of an activity. So this is the activity. Action of saliva on food with the help of an activity. This is the activity with which you prove the action of saliva on food. On the starch, you proved its action. Clear. Our next process is respiration. Now what is respiration? Some people think to breathe and breathe out is respiration. No, beta. Respiration is whatever food you had, you digested the glucose which was formed. By breaking it down, from that obtaining a energy. And the energy that is formed in our body, it's form of ATP. What is ATP? It's the currency of energy. Like our body says, give me 100 ATP. Means, give me the energy worth 100 ATP. So, the process of breaking down of food to release energy in the form of ATP is called respiration. To make energy by breaking down the food is called respiration. Now, some people get confused between respiration and breathing. What is the difference? Understand? What is breathing? To inhale and exhale the air. And what is respiration? To break down the food and make energy out of it. Both are completely different. Breathing, see carefully, is a physical process. And respiration, you made energy by breaking the food down. Means there would be some chemical reaction. Means glucose would convert in something in carbon dioxide, in water. It would convert into these things. So what is your respiration? It's a chemical process. Sometimes it's also called biochemical process because it's happening inside our body. Listen to the third thing. In order to breathe, energy is required. It takes effort or not? For breathing, more energy is required. Whereas in respiration, the energy is released. Fourth thing, where does the breathing happens? In the nose, in the nasal passage, in our what? In the windpipe, in our trachea, in the lungs. Overall, if we see, we can say where is the breathing occurring? In the lungs. If we see broadly, breathing happens in lungs. Where does the respiration happens? What is the energy formed? It is formed in the stomach. No, beta. The energy is formed in each cell of the body. The glucose which was formed at last, what was done to it? The villi absorbed it, gave it to blood vessel. Now through the blood, that the food, the glucose would go to each and every cell, in each and every cell. Cells of the leg, cell of hand, cell of ape, cell of head, cell of that brain. The glucose would reach each and every cell there inside the cell. The glucose is broken down and the energy is formed. It means respiration happens in cell. These are four differences are written. You read it. It's a physical process. It's a chemical process. What does this? No energy release. Instead, energy is required. And here, energy is released in form of ATP. And here, happens in lungs and happens in cells. Read the four difference. But understand one thing. Breathing is necessary for respiration to happen. Yes. Yes. Why? When you have to make energy by breaking down food, then fuel needed for cooking food or not? Do you light the gas or not? So oxygen is a fuel with which we make energy by breaking down food. What is oxygen? It is fuel. So breathing is necessary for respiration, but both are not the same thing. Breathing is essential for respiration. O2 is fuel for respiration. Oxygen is required to become energy only when oxygen is used. Now look, how does respiration happen? So what did we do? We digested food, and what happened? The carbohydrates become glucose. And what did the villi do? They gave the glucose to the blood vessel. Now what did the blood vessel do? They took that glucose to all the cells of the body. What is every cell of the body? Glucose. What is glucose? It is molecule of 6 carbons. Say 6H12O6. Now inside the cells, what is inside the cell? Cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? It's the fluid that is in the whole cell. Suppose this is our cell. So the fluid visible in the entire cell is called cytoplasm. Now inside the cytoplasm, what happens is this glucose starts breaking down into small parts. And breaking down, it forms a small molecule, pyruvate. Remember the name? Pyruvate. What is pyruvate? A molecule of 3 carbons. What is glucose? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. What is the pyruvate? 1, 2, 3. A molecule of 3 carbons. So it broke down into small parts. What is released along with it? Energy. So beta, what is this? This is respiration. Where is respiration happening? In the cell, in the cytoplasm. Big glucose molecules, 6 carbon molecules are breaking down into small parts. Pyruvates molecules are being formed, energy is being released. This is first step. There is one more second step of respiration. What is respiration? Making energy by breaking down food. So you must have heard one thing, that there is mitochondria in the cell. Mitochondria. Job of mitochondria. What do you think about mitochondria? Powerhouse of the cell. Powerhouse means it creates energy. So beta, what happens is that respiration already happened here. Energy is formed after this inside the mitochondria in the cell. In the presence of oxygen in the cell that is receiving oxygen inside the mitochondria, in the presence of oxygen, what happened? This pyruvate broke down into small molecules. Broke down into what? Carbon dioxide, water and energy. And what happened in this beta? There was complete oxidation of this pyruvate. Whenever there is complete oxidation of any carbon compound, carbon dioxide, water and energy are released. You have to study in chemistry too. For any carbon compound, we will study this when we cover carbon and its compound. We will study methane, we will study ethane, any carbon compound. If its complete oxidation happens in presence of oxygen, so what is formed? Carbon dioxide, water and lots of energy. So where did this respiration happen? And happen in mitochondria. Okay. There is one more type of respiration. This one look is normal. What happened in cytoplasm was just first step. Step number 1, where did it happen? Cytoplasm. Where did the step number 2 happen? Inside the cell, in the mitochondria. What happened? The pyruvate also broke down from carbon dioxide, water and energy in presence of oxygen. That's why mitochondria is called the powerhouse of cell. Okay. Sometimes in the absence of oxygen, pyruvate also breaks down. This happens in which? This happens in yeast. So for example, we took the example of yeast. Absence of oxygen. It's breakdown without oxygen. When any carbon molecules break down without oxygen, so proper oxidation cannot happen. It is incomplete oxidation. So inside the yeast, what did we see happen? Incomplete oxidation of glucose, or you can say pyruvate. Incomplete. What was formed in incomplete product? I have to remember what was formed. Ethanol was formed, carbon dioxide and energy. Ethanol beta is a 2 carbon molecule, C2H5OH. So what is ethanol? A 2 carbon molecule. So it went from 3 to 2, it becomes small. But it didn't become that small. Look at carbon dioxide. It's like 1 carbon molecule, very small. Here it becomes slightly small. Ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Where does this happen? This happens inside yeast. When did this happen? In absence of oxygen. Now because ethanol was formed there, ethanol is an alcohol. That is why this is also called alcoholic respiration. What is it called? Alcoholic respiration. Or sometimes it is also called alcoholic fermentation. You must have heard fermentation is used for making liquor. So this is used to produce beer. Don't drink it. It's a bad thing. It ruins liver. Chi. Does your friend drink? Does your friend drink alcohol at this age? Who is that friend? Hey, it's illegal, bhai. He'll get caught for booze at this age. Is he solution wala? So in the absence of oxygen, where? In abundant yeast. And what is it formed? Ethanol, carbon dioxide, energy. Now beta, this is incomplete. Which energy releases here is less. Compared to this one, the energy here is 10 times less. So this is not a very good respiration. This is not a very good respiration. Okay. There could be one more thing, lack of oxygen. That oxygen is present, but not very sufficient. One is presence, good oxygen, mitochondria. One is complete absence, where in yeast. One is lack of oxygen. What is this? This happens in our muscle cells, especially in those muscle cells which are attached to our bones. Suppose you are running fast, running very fast, and you suddenly need energy. The energy is depleting while running. Now while running, you can't even take breath. Can you take? You are not able to take breath. Oxygen is not going in. So what does it become? Lack of oxygen. In such a case, when there is lack of oxygen, when you do some stressful activity, lack of oxygen, in such situation, the respiration that happens, the pyruvate that breaks down into lactic acid and energy. What is this to? This is to incomplete oxidation. Where does this happen? It happens in our muscle cells. And where does it happen? It happens in our muscle cells attached to bone. And this thing also happens in some bacteria. What was formed in this? Lactic acid and energy. Here to beta, less energy is produced. The most awesome energy is here because complete oxidation happens where in the mitochondria. Carbon dioxide, water, energy, complete oxidation. The most energy. Less than that is here and the least is here. Here is the lack of oxygen, here absence of oxygen. So the most energy is from there, less than this here and then least is from there. What is this to? Lack of oxygen. Oxygen is also less in this. When does this happen? When you are under stress. And under that stress, you said no energy must be produced. So it said, okay, I'll do one job with the lack of oxygen. I'll try to break pyruvate down and make it small. But I won't make it that small as that can be with much less oxygen. Less fuel was given. Oxygen is the fuel that is causing this entire reaction. So if the less fuel was received, the reaction was slightly less. Lactic acid was formed and energy was produced. What do we also call this? Lactic acid respiration, or lactic acids fermentation was named after it. Now listen carefully. When oxygen is present, we call it aerobic respiration. When oxygen is definitely present, we call the aerobic respiration. That it happened in the presence of assembly oxygen. Air is present, aerobic respiration. In both these cases, you can see that oxygen is slightly less. Yes or no? In both cases, you can see that here is absolutely absent and here it is also lack. So when there is low oxygen presence or oxygen is not present at all, both these cases are what we call anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic means no air, meaning air is not present. Anaerobic respiration. So these two become anaerobic, this one become aerobic respiration. And which one is more energy form? In aerobic respiration. And which one is less form? In anaerobic. If you want to remember the end product, then you will have to learn this thing. What products are being formed? First step, beta, is common for all three. That first respiration definitely happens in the cytoplasm. It definitely happens in the cytoplasm of cell. After this, inside the mitochondria, inside the cell, there is mitochondria. This is cell. It only happens inside the mitochondria when you have the presence of oxygen, complete oxidation, carbon dioxide, water, and lots of energy released, which is this one, aerobic respiration. And in absence of oxygen, in what does it happen? It happens in the yeast. There, ethanol, carbon dioxide, and energy are released. Okay. What is this like? Anaerobic, in absence of oxygen. And if lack of oxygen, where? It happens in our muscle cells attached to bones, in our some bacteria. What is formed there? Lactic acid and energy. Remember their name? Alcoholic respiration or fermentation, lactic respiration or fermentation. Both are what? Anaerobic, energy is less. Okay, pay attention to one more thing. When this thing happens, this important one, when this happens, there are cramps in muscles. There is fatigue. Fatigue means tiredness. Cramp means there is pain. Why pain happens? You demanded energy quickly. And the work of ace is the devils. While running, you said I give energy. The body said, here, take the energy and hurry. But in return, I will give you pain. So beta, this lactic acid, because of this, we get cramps and fatigue. During intensive exercise, muscles rapidly convert glucose to lactic acid. For quick energy, it gives energy in hurry. What did muscle do? It converted muscle into what? Into lactic acid, this case. This lactic acid buildup causes fatigue and cramp in muscles. It says cramp in muscles. Okay, there are cramps in the muscles. So this is also its advantage of making quick energy. Look the question 24, 22, 20, either this or similar question is coming. So we'll do this. Glucose was put into cytoplasm, 3 carbon molecule. What was formed? Pyruvate. Pyruvate. Then presence of oxygen in mitochondria. Here is this plus this plus this. What is this? Carbon dioxide. All right, let's go. Now see whose difference is explained here of aerobic and anaerobic respiration. In aerobic, oxygen is required. In anaerobic, oxygen is not required. In aerobic, more energy is produced. In anaerobic, less energy produced. In aerobic, complete oxidation and breakdown of glucose. Complete breakdown. Here, incomplete oxidation and breakdown of glucose. Where does aerobic occurs? It occurs in cytoplasm and mitochondria. Where was aerobic? In the mitochondria. Where is the anaerobic occurring? Only in cytoplasm. It occurs only in cytoplasm. After that, not in any cell organelle. If it needs oxygen to occur in mitochondria. What are the end products? When totally nice, complete oxidation happens, that end products is carbon dioxide, water, energy. So carbon dioxide, water, and white energy also with it. What was the end product here? Here it depends. If it happened in lack of oxygen, then lactic acid is formed. Lack of oxygen, lactic acid. Will you able to remember? Lactic acid. And an absence of oxygen, totally absence, it happens in like case, then ethanol and carbon dioxide will be formed. So ethanol plus carbon dioxide or lactic acid. So this is aerobic, anaerobic respiration. Do remember this? This is important. This is asked in exam. Okay. 24, 20, 22. Question asked in CBS. Name the substance whose buildup in muscle cell during vigorous physical exercise may cause cramps. So what are the things that causes cramps? It happens with lactic acid, the buildup of lactic acid. What is it? Anaerobic respiration and lack of oxygen. Next, which gas is released during anaerobic respiration in yeast? So what was there in yeast? Absence of oxygen. What was released? Ethanol and carbon dioxide. So which gas? Carbon dioxide. So you will have to remember this sometimes. Next is respiratory system of our human body. Full system of breathing, the whole system of breathing. To understand the whole breathing system, that how oxygen comes and how it goes to the lungs and how each cells of body gets oxygen. So one question from this page also always done. Come, let's see what it is. Where does the breath reaches first? Air enters the passage. First of all, where did it come? Into the nostrils, means the opening of nose. Where does the breath enters first? In the opening of nose. Where did it go after that? Into the nasal passage, into this thing. What is this? Nasal passage. Now look carefully, this nasal passage of ours, this one nasal passage inside, what are you doing? In the nasal passage, have you seen there are hairs in the nose are grown like this? These hairs and inside is full of mucus. Don't it come out of it like this? Don't you eat? Do you have any friend who eats nose? Some people eat like this quietly. I don't know. It happens on its own. That's so it's sweet. Are sir, how do you know? I have never ate it. Hey. So what is that nasal passage? What is their nasal passage? Hairs are there and mucus is there. What is their function? That if any dirt enters with the breath, then capture it. Dust particles will get trapped between hairs. It will trapped in the mucus and only oxygen will enter inside. So they do filtration, nasal passage. Have hair linings, passage for filtration of air. Passage lines with mucus to trap dirt and dust and filtration of air. What it did? It trapped dirt and dust and filtration of air. Now breathe went inside from here. Our next two things are profit and loss. P and L, profit and loss. What is P? Pharynx. What is L? Larynx. Brother, sister, pharynx, larynx. The dent which you see, this is called pharynx. What is pharynx, beta? It is a common passage for food and breathing. Common path for food and breathing. Common passage for food and air. That's why it is said to not talk during eating. Otherwise, food will get stuck. Because what you are breathing from here and eating from here. So this is a common passage for food and air, pharynx. This dent that you see, this hole that you see, you can see this hole. This is pharynx. This is this pharynx. Just below it, beta, don't you see an emerge thing? Emerge outside this gatka. Can you see this below my? Yes, sir, I can see this gatka. This gatka is showing this is larynx. So upside pharynx and downside larynx. P and L, profit and loss. Now what is larynx, beta? Larynx is the sound box is your larynx. So here it is, larynx. Produces sound, contains vocal cord, allows air to pass into trachea. Trachea means into the windpipe. So you had to remember larynx function. What is it? There is vocal cord, produces sound, helps in speaking, produces sound, contains vocal cord, allow air to pass into trachea. Now what is trachea? Trachea is this, the pipe. This is called windpipe. Like pipe is eating was esophagus. So for breathe, that is said pipe of breathing. Breathing pipe is there, that is trachea. What do we call that? Trachea, windpipe. What is trachea? Windpipe. What question is asked from here? Listen carefully. Question comes from this only, trachea. What the question is asked? Can you see something above the trachea? Something circular like this, catch, made like this. This can you see? Like this one. Can you see this? What is this? This is called rings of cartilage. Is it looking like rings of cartilage? What is the function of rings of cartilage? The windpipe, that is your trachea. It protected from shrinking. Protected from what? From shrinking. Suppose your windpipe shrinks or a bhaiya breath will not enter. So what does it do? It prevents air passage from collapsing. It protects from collapsing, means protect from shrinking. So these are rings of cartilage. Its function has been asked on board. Look here, it is asked in 2023, 21, 19. Prevents air passage from collapsing. Trachea from collapsing. Windpipe from collapsing, whatever you say. You understood trachea, windpipe. All right. Now breath went down. Whereas the breath go now, everyone knows it has to go to lungs. So now breath will go lungs after this. Where does lungs start? From here. From trachea ends here. And trachea divides it into two parts. What do we call these two parts? Bronchi. It has to go two sides, two lengths like this. So the tube that was coming, the windpipe divided into the direction like this. What do we call it? Bronchi. What do we call? Bronchi. Two bronchi connect trachea to each lung. What is bronchia? It is tube that connect trachea to lungs. Now when bronchi moves ahead, look, puchara, like this emerges. Look what it becomes after this, puchara. This bronchi emerges and going ahead, it becomes puchara. These thin tubes, what do we call them? We call them bronchioles. What happened? The bronchi that was there, it divided into thin tubes, which we call bronchioles. What is their function? To increase the surface area of absorption. By if there was only one tube, then air would be passing through one tube only. What is it now? Thin. It scattered fully in thin tubes. So what is this bronchioles? The thin tubes that are scattered in whole lungs, bronchioles. Each bronchi divides in lungs to form large number of smaller tubes called bronchioles. Bronchioles are small air passage that lead directly to the alveoli. Now let's see what alveoli thing is. So have you understood first kya till now? Because we have reached the last part. So what is the first? It is nostril, hole, the breath enters. Then what? Our nasal passage. What is a nasal passage? There is air, mucus that will stop dust and do filtration. What's coming after that? What is next? P and L, pharynx and larynx. What is pharynx? Common passage for food and air. What is next? Sound box, vocal cord. After that comes windpipe, trachea. And what is there upon trachea? Rings of cartilage which prevents windpipe from collapsing. Then after that, breath went in, divided into what? Bronchi. What is bronchi? Two tubes which will go in each lungs. Then bronchi divides into thin tubes which we call bronchioles. And this bronchioles, thin small tubes goes to end in what? They end in this, in the round. In which one? This round. Can it be seen that it goes in the last to become round? Look this. These are called alveoli. Where it goes end in the last, it goes in the end at, can you say it or not? It goes in the last to end into this, into alveoli, into this thing, round. Bronchioles and at alveoli. Now what is alveoli? Beta, alveoli are small air bags. What is alveoli? It is a small air bag. Is this alveoli showing? What is alveoli? It is small air bag. What is its function? It is very important. You inhaled oxygen went into trachea, went into bronchi, then into bronchus, then air sacs. Thin, small air sacs. This beta, thin, small, thin. Thin means the walls are thin. What do these do? They take oxygen and they are surrounded by thin blood vessels around them. Surrounded by what? By thin blood vessels. What do these do? The oxygen that you took, now this has to be sent to the blood. So their walls are so thin, the wall of airbags, the walls of airbag are so thin that oxygen gets out from here and is too into the blood. And similarly, the carbon dioxide from blood comes to where? Into the alveoli. Then we have to release carbon dioxide out. So blood brings carbon dioxide from the body and does an exchange with alveoli. So what happens in alveoli? Exchange of air. So what is alveoli? A tiny balloon like air sacs. Small balloon means totally thin. Thin walls are very thin. Sacs located at the end of the bronchioles, thin wall, totally thin and moist for easy gas diffusion has to take place. Surrounded by a network of blood capillaries. What is capillaries, beta? The vessels, when they are very thin, they become capillaries. The blood tubes, the blood pipes, when it becomes very thin, it is capillary. So in it, capillaries are bounded to it, all around it. What do? They take oxygen outside and carbon dioxide inside. Why it goes? Because walls very thin. They are the site of gas exchange in the lungs. Each lung contains millions of alveoli, providing a large surface area for efficient diffusion. What are they? There are millions of alveoli inside every lung. What is gained from this? Lot surface area. There are many. So lot of surface area for gas diffusion. Okay, come on, let's move forward. Next. Now look, this is what is shown. This is your alveoli. The same thing is represented. Beta, look, these round alveoli are here. What is it? It is bronchiole. What is this? Alveoli. Look, do you see running next to it? Blood running. Can you see it or not? Look, blood vessels are visible. What are the red blood vessels doing, beta? The red blood vessels, red means it brought oxygen. Okay. And what are the blue ones doing? Carbon dioxide. That means it carry oxygen. What are blue ones doing? They brought carbon dioxide. Okay, so we call it artery and vein. We will study later. Don't take so much tension. Now simple. This red one, what will it do? It will take oxygen from the alveoli. And this blue one, what will it do? It will give carbon dioxide to the alveoli. The same thing is written. Alveoli are richly supplied with blood vessels for efficient exchange of gases. What is side by side to the alveoli? Blood vessels. Richly supplied. Lots of blood vessels. Richly supplied with blood vessels for efficient exchange of gases. Oxygen from alveoli. You took a breath, rich in oxygen, reached the alveoli. Where does it have to go? Into the blood. Oxygen from alveoli diffuses into the blood capillaries. Oxygen went into the thin tubes of the blood. From here, oxygen went to which one? Into the red one, into the red tube, into the artery, capillary of the blood. Carbon dioxide from blood diffuses into alveoli. And the carbon dioxide in the blood, the blue one that is visible, that is carbon dioxide. What happened to it? It went into alveoli. Okay, look at the question that come into 2024. Yes, 2024, 22, 2018, a similar question has come. Describe the exchange of gases in alveoli and why are the alveoli richly supplied with blood vessels? Can we explain it? What is happening with the exchange of gases? The blood is taking oxygen from this and giving carbon dioxide to this. Why is it rigidly supplied? So that efficient exchange of gases can happen. Okay. Next, understand one thing, the process of our breathing, inhaling and exhaling. So beta, there is a diaphragm here. You must have heard of it. Can you see this? Diaphragm. What does the diaphragm do? It separates your abdomen from your chest. It is like this. This is dome-shaped muscle. This is called diaphragm here. The dome-shaped muscle separates what? Our chest from our abdomen. Now, what is the job of the diaphragm? Just listen carefully. The relaxed position of the diaphragm is that it stays like this. When you take a breath in, you make your chest cavity bigger and the diaphragm goes down like this and contracts and straightens. And your chest cavity becomes big when breath fills up. And when you breathe out, the diaphragm relaxes again and come back towards dome shape like this. This is the job. Look at the breathing in. My chest cavity is above. What is above is the chest. Now, if we have to take breath, we need to inflate the chest or not? As much as possible. So, if I take the breath, what will happen? The diaphragm will contract. This is its original position. Dome shape. This is its original position. If contracted straightened, went down, at contracted straightened, went down, and the chest cavity become big, the breath fill up. Now, to breathe out, it will have to push to exhale. So then diaphragm relaxed, came up, I relaxed, came up, it relaxed, came up, its original position, and we exhale. So this is inhalation or expiration, exhalation or expiration, taken breath out. What happens in inhalation? Diaphragm contracted and moves downwards and becomes flat. Look, it went down, it becomes like this. After going down, it was like this, came down like this and become flat. When it comes down, chest cavity will become larger, chest cavity becomes larger, air is sucked into the lungs. Second, exhalation. What happens in exhalation? Diaphragm relaxes. Now it was like this. From this, going back to the relaxed position. When it goes like this, what happens? Moves upward. Moves upward and becomes dome shape. It came back to its dome shape. This is its original shape, dome shape. Chest cavity becomes smaller. Now what happened? The whole of the chest, the space of chest. What happened to it? It becomes small. It comes up, the chest cavity becomes smaller. Air is pushed out from the lungs. Okay, so remember this. One more thing is asked in exam. What is residual volume? What happens sometimes we don't have competition in school? We will hold our breath. We won't take breath. They will hold our breath. Sometimes you do this when you are sad. When mom and dad wait and you, what do you say? I will hold my breath and die. Who have done this? Everyone must have done it. I will hold my breath and die. Sitting in the room. Mom beat me a lot because I don't study. These are not my real parents. How I will hold and die in my room. I will hold my breath and die. Oh. After a while, it is replaced. As long as you hold your breath, the lungs are very clever. The lungs have already saved some oxygen, residual volume hidden with themselves. As you do these mischiefs, so it has enough oxygen left to keep working. Amount of air always remain in lungs to provide sufficient time to absorb O2 and release CO2. So this question asked in 23, 21, 19 and similar question asked. What it always keeps? It saves an amount of air with itself to provide sufficient time to absorb O2 and release CO2 so that you have sufficient time. So remember that it always saves a volume of oxygen to provide you sufficient time. Okay, come on, let's move forward. Next is respiration in plants. It's very simple. Understand one simple thing from this. What happens in day? What happens in night? Look, photosynthesis happens during the daytime. What happens in the daytime? Photosynthesis. What happens in photosynthesis? Oxygen is released. Remember, in photosynthesis, glucose, water and oxygen. So what was the first thing happened in the photosynthesis? Oxygen. And in daytime respiration, what does the plant do during the day? It will surely make energy from the food food is made. Now energy is made from that. So respiration for making energy. Remember what was released in respiration? Carbon dioxide, water and energy. So what was released in respiration? Carbon dioxide. Now tell me one thing, does photosynthesis need the carbon dioxide? Do you remember the process of photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide plus water, and on the other side glucose was released, and what was else released? Oxygen and water released. So is carbon dioxide needed for photosynthesis? Yes, it is. So the carbon dioxide released from the plant's respiration during the day is used for photosynthesis. So efficiently, what is released from the plant during the day? Only oxygen. That's why we said they give oxygen in the daytime. Because of what do they give it? Because of photosynthesis. What is being released outside in photosynthesis? Oxygen. But what was released in respiration? Carbon dioxide was also released. By this carbon dioxide, plant used in photosynthesis. And photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is required. So it used the respiration one. So carbon dioxide is not even visible. Overall, what was released? Oxygen. So trees gives us oxygen during the day. But if I talk about the night, will photosynthesis happen at night? Will it happen? Will it happen? No, it won't, because there is no sunlight. So in night, no oxygen will be released in night. Only what happened? Respiration. Energy will surely be made by breaking food. It stored the food during the day, stored in the form of starch, breaking down that energy. So what is only being released at night? Carbon dioxide. So what is the net result at night? CO2 is given out. That's why they say one shouldn't sleep near a tree at night. The tree gives carbon dioxide at night. What gives it during the day? O2 during the day. Question asked in CBSE 25, 24, 21, 19. This is similar question like this. Which of the following statement about respiration in plants is correct? Which statement among these is correct? Respiration in plants occurs only during daytime. No, it happens both time. Oxygen is not required. Oxygen is required. Only leaves carry out respiration in plants. No, beta, respiration happens in every single cell. Photosynthesis happens in leaves, respiration in every single cell. Both photosynthesis and respiration occur in leaf during the day. That is correct thing. And the day photosynthesis will happen and respiration will also happen. Next is breathing in fish. One special thing about fish is that they have to put in more effort to breathe because they are inside water. There is dissolved oxygen inside the water. So they open their mouth for the dissolved oxygen, and they take water. They absorb the dissolved oxygen from the water. They release remaining water out through the gills. Overall, they need more effort. That is why you will see their rate of breathing is higher than ours. Fish take in water through mouth, force it past the gills, they release it out through the gills. Dissolved oxygen is taken by blood. So they observe the dissolved oxygen that is inside the water. Rest of the water they release through the gills. When they open their mouth, they close the gills. When they close their mouth, they open the gills. Mouth open, gill closed, and vice versa. They open the mouth, took water, closed it, absorb oxygen. They open the gills, release water. Terrestrial organism versus aquatic organism. We breathe oxygen in atmosphere. Terrestrial means we live on the ground. We simply inhale the oxygen from the atmosphere. That means we absorb it. It's a big problem for them. What do they do? Aquatic organism use dissolved oxygen in water. They have to take the oxygen that is dissolved in water. That's why their rate of breathing is more, as they have to obtain oxygen dissolved in water. That is why their rate of breathing is higher. Next one is our process is transportation. What is transportation? Moving different substance from one place to another place inside the body. For the example, oxygen. You breathe, where did it go? In through the lungs. Now this oxygen is needed by every single cell of body. So what happens? This oxygen dissolves into the blood through the lungs. Then this oxygen is transported to every single cell of the body through the blood. Now every single cell of your body, what is it doing? Those are releasing waste products. Now all these waste product has to be sent out from the cells and also expelled outside. So like that song, gaadi wala aaya ghar se kachra nikal. So what happens? This waste will leave the cell. It will dissolve in the blood and the blood will take it away and excrete it. They will throw out. For example, you ate food. By food was eaten, went into the stomach, glucose was formed after going into the intestine. Now this glucose is needed by every single cell of the body. The cell of your foot, the cell of thigh, cell of hand, cell of finger, cell of eyes, cell of brain, everyone needs it. Now this glucose, what will happen? It will dissolve in the blood from the intestine. Then the blood vessel will take it and dissolving into the blood. Then glucose of yours, they reach every single cell. And what will everyone get? Everyone get glucose, everyone get food. So there are many things that are transported inside the body. And if you see carefully, then in the human body, the biggest transport system is the circulatory system. Lymphatic is also there. We will read it in short. In human beings, the largest transport system that is there is the circulatory system. We have to read transportation in human and we have to read plants. So circulatory system in the largest in human. There are three components beta in circulatory system. First of all, blood. Second are the tubes carrying blood vessel. And third, the organ that pumps the blood are heart. So blood vessel and heart. So first of all, beta, we will study blood. So what is blood, beta? Blood is a fluid in body. It is red in color. You have seen blood color is red. We also call the blood connective tissue. What does blood do? Blood transports different things in the body. Question comes from here in the board from the blood components. What are the blood components? Plasma, RBC, WBC, and platelets. First of all, plasma. What is plasma? Largest component of blood, fluid of blood. Look, can you see this? Yellow color. Yes. So plasma is of pale yellow color. Now plasma, that is blood fluid, what is its function? Its most important function is to transport carbon dioxide. Simultaneously, it also transport food. Simultaneously, it also transport waste. This is your plasma. Okay, so what all it does? Remember carbon dioxide, waste and food. Remember the carbon dioxide bill. Next is RBC, say it red blood corpuscles or say it red blood cells. RBC's most important work is transport of oxygen. Who does the transport of oxygen? RBC. It does carbon dioxide too, but is your largest transportation system of carbon dioxide here, plasma. The largest task of red blood cells is to transport oxygen. How does it do? Red blood cells have a special protein, namely hemoglobin. What does hemoglobin do? It sticks with the oxygen and takes to the different parts of the body. And this is where hemoglobin is the main reason for blood being red in color. So red color is also provided by this hemoglobin. So it has hemoglobin. What does it do? Transport oxygen and red color to blood. Third thing is your WBC, white blood cells. Everyone knows it does. It does quarrel and fight. It provides immunity. It fights with infection. And the last is our platelets. What does platelets do? It helps in blood clotting. If there is any bleeding, it helps in clotting of blood. All right, let's move forward. Now, tubes that carries blood. So this network of the tubes, that are so many tubes on the body, what do we call this network of tubes? We call them blood vessels. Blood vessels, if you see it gently beta, you will find it two types. First, from height, blood totally full of oxygen. Tubes that carry it in different cells of the body, these are called arteries. So the blood that goes from heart, that goes to different cells of the body, oxygen filled blood that goes, this is called oxygenated blood. Who carries it? Arteries. What do they do? Carries blood away from the heart. They take away blood from the heart and to the different organs. This is the oxygenated blood. Look at this. This is always showed in red color. This artery, that of red color, which you see here. One you see blue and one you see red here. That is seen when you light a torch, and the blue one can see anyways. So this red one, what is it carrying? Oxygenated blood. To where? From heart to different organs of the body into the different cells. There is one more another type of vessel too, very important, which are veins. Now, why oxygenated blood has reached to the different blood cells, blood with oxygen. Now, different cells took the oxygen and did the respiration with that. They did their processes and released the waste, release carbon dioxide. Now, the carbon dioxide that is released is not wanted by cell. They will ask to take it away. Who will take it away? Blood. And that are tubes, that are vessels that takes carbon dioxide from different cells. We call them veins. They seems blue to you. Why blue? Because they lack in oxygen. They have more carbon dioxide. This is called deoxygenated blood. These, where do they come back carrying the blood? To the heart. Veins. Returns blood to the heart. Okay, first we will understand these, then I'll explain the third. Let's go. So arteries carries blood away from the heart. Arteries, the red one. Arteries took the blood from heart to the different organs. How are they? Rich in oxygenated blood. What kind of blood it carries? Full of oxygen to the whole cells. It has high pressure. Why is it high pressure? Because our heart is a pump. It is tollu. So what does heart do? It throws the blood. So what is inside it? High pressure is in the arteries. That's why arteries are very fat and thick. Thick and elastic walls. It is asked in the boards that why arteries had thick and elastic walls. Why? Because blood has high pressure inside it. It's coming from heart. Arteries, look, remember it. Arteries away from the heart. Arteries is also a, away from the heart is also a. Arteries away from the heart. And what kind of blood comes from heart? Full of oxygen. It goes to each cell of the body. And how is it? High pressure. High pressure, that's why thick and elastic wall it has. There are no walls in it. Walls means walls are put there where something may backflow. That's why walls are fixed. Blood grows from heart with such a high pressure that there is no chance of flow back. Heart pushed and send the blood like this, and it goes to your feet, your hand. Now when it goes here, there is no chance of flow back. Even if it go upward, then also no chance. If this go upward, then with gravity, even that it doesn't come by. It's high pressure. The other type of vessels are veins, the one that seems blue. What do these do? They carries blood back to the heart from different organs, different cells. The deoxygenated blood, carbon dioxide is more, takes that and returns back to the heart, returns blood to the heart. What will be in this? Contains deoxygenated blood. Carbon dioxide will be excess in this. Oxygen will be less in it. Deoxygenated blood. All right. Now blood comes back from different organs of body. Then it will be in high pressure. By which pump is there with different organs? So what is in it? It's low pressure. It somehow brings back blood to the heart. It is low pressure, so how will be their walls? How will be their tubes? It will be thin. So thin and less elastic. It is not coming in high pressure, so more thick walls are not required. All right, in this walls are present. Why are walls present? Suppose heart send blood to your feet. How does heart sends blood? Away from the heart through the arteries. Your oxygenated blood reached to the feet through arteries. Cells in the feet enjoyed very well. The oxygen came, celebrated, respiration up and energy produced. Carbon dioxide is formed. They said this carbon dioxide is to be sent. To whom they will give it? The returning tubes to the veins. So they gave carbon dioxide to the veins. So when veins come out of feet, and bring blood upwards, beta, then the pressure is not there. How slowly and how it bringing it up. Now there are chances that blood may return back downwards due to gravity. Especially in the case of it, suppose from weight, what are veins doing? What do veins bring? Return blood to the heart is returning back with blood. When it is returning, beta coming, there is no pressure. So what can happen in this? Backflow can happen. That's why inside the veins, walls are found. No valves in the arteries, because arteries what? Blood is going on high pressure from heart. No chance of backflow. In veins, it is coming back from feet. So returning. So valves are there in veins. It is important in bold. Valves in veins play a crucial role in ensuring blood flows in the correct direction, especially towards the heart. Even against gravity, if it is coming from feet, then it has to come against gravity. These one-way valves found primarily in the veins of the legs to prevent the backflow of the blood. So what is the function of valves? To protect from backflow of the blood. And where it will be found the most? In your legs. The veins that are in the legs, there. A third type of blood vessel is also there, which we call capillaries, that you must sing in the center. What is their function? Now beta, suppose blood vessels comes from out of the heart. Who came out? Artery. Away from the heart, artery. With what kind of blood? With fully oxygenated blood, and went to the cells. Now it goes to cells. How are the arteries walls? It is thick wall. Why? It is high pressure in artery, thick wall. Now it goes to the cell with oxygen. Now oxygen will not be able to come out from this. The wall is so thick. What happens when it reaches to the cell? Then it starts dividing into thin tubes. Look like this. When it reaches to the cell artery, what has it bought? It bought the oxygen. And here suppose there is some cell. Suppose here is some cell or something. Now oxygen will not be able to come out from this. So much thick walls are there in high pressure. So what do? They divide themselves in thin tubes. These thin tubes are called capillaries. Exchange of gases occurs through these capillaries only. Suppose there is any cell. This cell needs oxygen. Who bought it from heart? Arteries bought it from the heart. It came and divided into thin tubes, capillaries. Now this oxygen will jump from here. Where will it go? Into the side. Diffusion can happen because they are thin walls. Okay. Cell got the oxygen. Now cell release the waste, carbon dioxide. When the cell released the waste, carbon dioxide, then it went into this capillaries. Capillaries are both the types, red also and blue also. But they are not called artery or vein. They are called capillary. So here this has oxygen to it to the cell. The red capillary gave, the oxygenated capillary gave. And what did the cell told back? Take back carbon dioxide and go. To whom they will give? To the returning tubes, to the veins. So this gave carbon dioxide to the blue thin capillaries, and this went to the veins from here. So understand it like this. The blood vessel artery came from here and then get branched like this. And here is the cell. It has totally branched. No oxygen came into this, into the cell. This came into cell through thin capillaries. Carbon dioxide released from cell. Thin capillaries came from this side, which will take back to the carbon dioxide. So beta, if I talk about capillary, then what is their function? Connects arteries and veins. Arteries and veins are connected by it. Transports both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Both blood will be present in it. When the capillaries of artery deoxygenated, when the capillaries of veins, then deoxygenated. How will it be, thick or thin? They are very thin. It is so thin that their thickness is equal to only one cell. How's the pressure in it? Moderate. Not too much, not too less. The pressure here is too high, here is too low, and moderate in the center. How is their thickness? Very thin. One cell wall. Means the thickness of one cell wall, very thin. Why? Think and answer. Why they are very thin? Because by diffusion of gases are supposed to occur. If their walls will be thin, then only the oxygen from this blood will reach out to the cell, and the carbon dioxide from the cell will reach the blood. So they are very thin walls. Capillary are the very thin tubes. In this, any walls are Not present because there is no point of backflow. Blood comes like this and flows away like this. Okay. Now I'll tell you 2-3 important points. First important point is an excretion. Where does the artery carry blood from? From the heart. Away from the heart, artery A. Away from the heart, A. What type of blood? Oxygenated. But there is one exception of this, which is pulmonary artery. What does it carry? Deoxygenated blood. This exception is asked many times. One such artery is there which carries deoxygenated blood. What does veins carry? Impure blood from the organs of body, isn't it? That bring deoxygenated blood. But there is an exception of this. One such vein is there which carries oxygenated blood, which is pulmonary vein, carries oxygenated blood. So you have to remember these two exceptions. Yes, bhai, blood is done, blood vessel is done. Third important part of circulatory system is heart. Beta, heart is a simple organ that pumps up the blood. The one and only work of the heart is to pump the blood. Heart is motor, nothing. Heart doesn't purify the blood. Heart doesn't even make it. It only sends blood to the different parts of the body by pumping it. It has a machine that pumps up the blood. Now the conversation is, why do we need heart? Okay, listen. Let's assume we have lungs, not an assumption, we have lungs. Lungs absorbed oxygen, isn't it? We took breathe, air is inhaled, it is rich in oxygen. Now lung said that he want to transfer this oxygen in different parts of the body, want to give this one to everyone. So what lungs did is, the oxygen that it took, the oxygen that went to alveoli where very thin capillaries were tight, from that oxygen goes to the blood vessel. But lungs don't have that much energy that after pushing the blood, it can provide oxygen to every organ. Lungs said, we take the help of heart for the purpose. So what does lungs do? It mixes the oxygen in the blood, and through the blood it sends this oxygenated blood to heart. Heart pump this in the whole body. Heart is a Hulk smash. So oxygenated blood reaches to the heart. So heart puts this oxygenated blood hardly, and where does this oxygenated blood with oxygen move? Different parts of the body and in the every cell. Every part of the body and every cell took the oxygen from this blood and respirated and performed their processes and left the waste, carbon dioxide. Now they asked to take back carbon dioxide. So now the second vessel called veins, they said, okay, we will take the carbon dioxide. Where should it go? Into the lungs, because lungs will release out the carbon dioxide. It's true. Here also is the same thing. Different organs of the body are unable to send to lungs. They don't have that much pressure. So it is sent back to the heart. And heart gets the blood, which one? With carbon dioxide, which has deoxygenated blood, which is the waste blood. When this comes to the heart pushes it and sends it to where? Into the lungs, carbon dioxide blood. Then this blood reaches the lungs, and lungs got the carbon dioxide. Then lungs exhale out this carbon dioxide. So notice that the process of mixing oxygen in the blood and exhaling carbon dioxide is done by lungs. Heart is only for a pump. Now listen carefully. We divided our heart into two pieces. This is our left part. This is our right part. Look carefully. Left part only deal with oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood comes, oxygenated blood goes. Right part only deals with deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood came, deoxygenated blood goes away. So our heart is divided in two parts, left and right. This only with oxygenated and this only with deoxygenated. After this, we divided our heart like this also. So total 4 chambers are formed in the heart. Upper ones are called atrium, lower ones are called ventricles. Look here. This is left atrium, this is left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle. And in between the right and left is a dividing wall known as septum. Its existence is very important in human beings. These deal with oxygenated blood. Those will deal with deoxygenated blood. Left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle. Let's start the story again. These are lungs. What does lungs took from outside? It took oxygen. They are supposed to send this oxygen to all the organs. Won't be able to do. What did they do? They give the oxygen to blood vessels. Blood vessel carrying this oxygenated blood, carrying and reach to the first left atrium. Left atrium. A lot of times you would have seen it written like this. Left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle. Okay. This blood reaches left atrium. How is this? Oxygenated. Heart told that I'll open the valve. This blood I will give it to the left ventricle below it. Blood reaches below at high pressure and left ventricle pushes very strongly. Which blood comes out? Oxygenated blood. This oxygenated blood we carrying reach to the body organs. Now tell me, what are the blood vessels that takes blood away from the heart artery? So what is this? This is an artery. And this is the longest artery of our body. This has special name too. The name is aorta. What is the name? Aorta, which is the largest artery. Aorta. We can call this main artery aorta. What is it carrying? Oxygenated blood. Went to the organs of body, cells of the body, gave them oxygen. They used oxygen, did different processes and gave back impurity in exchange, carbon dioxide. Now, which vessels carry carbon dioxide? Veins. So, what is this? One of our vein. Now, where should this vein carry carbon dioxide to? It should carry to lungs. Lungs will exhale it out, but can't go. So, where does it take it? To the heart, to the right atrium of heart. Now, this vein is the main vein of our body. So, it is connected directly to heart. How is vein? Towards the heart. So, it connects towards the heart. We call this vein as main vein or the largest vein. Its name is vena cava, or you can call it vena cava too. Vena cava or vena cava carried deoxygenated blood and gave to right atrium. Right atrium got the deoxygenated blood. It said, let's throw it below in the right ventricle. Put it in the right ventricle. Right ventricle pushed a, which type of blood came, beta? Deoxygenated with the carbon dioxide. This blood flowing with the carbon dioxide. Where does it went back to? In the lungs. Lungs exhaled the carbon dioxide. Again, this is your process. Understood? Understand few more things in this. Remember, we read an exception in this. One such artery that carries deoxygenated blood instead of deoxygenated blood. One such vein does opposite. Okay. Look, there's this one vessel. Where is it taking blood? Where is the vessel carrying blood? Towards the heart. Beta, towards the heart should mean vein. Exactly. So this is a vein. But this vein is carrying which type of blood? Oxygenated. What is in the vein? Deoxygenated. So this is an exceptional vein. We call it pulmonary vein. What is this? Pulmonary vein. And what is this vein carrying? It is carrying oxygenated blood. You will see same thing here too. This blood vessel, where is this blood vessel? Carrying blood towards? Away from the heart. Beta, what is away from the heart is artery. So this must be artery. But oxygenated blood flows through artery. It gives deoxygenated. So this is an exceptional artery, pulmonary artery. Pulmonary means lungs. Understand simply, the moment it will connect to heart, it will be opposite. What does artery do away from the heart? It always gives blood, oxygenated blood to the body. And what does veins do? Impure blood, carry deoxygenated blood to the heart. The moment they are connected to the heart, they behave opposite. What will artery carry at the moment? What will it carry away from the heart? Deoxygenated. Vein towards the heart, what will it carry this time? Oxygenated. This is exception. Okay, let's read more story about it, but you must learn this diagram perfectly. One more thing is written, that the heart is a muscular organ roughly the size of our fist, like this. It's our size of our fist. Clear? Understood till here? Let's move ahead. Now see, a heart looks like this. In reality, we drew it like this, of that of chambers, but it's not like that. Left ventricular, atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle. It's not like that. Heart looks like this in originally. Okay. Understand this perfectly. It is asked to draw this exam. It's important. Practice this by pausing it. Till now, I will explain this. What comes in lungs, beta? Let's understand simple process. Oxygen. Lungs send in oxygen through this. Where does it went? Towards the heart. If someone is coming towards the heart, beta, it will be a vein. And this is the exceptional vein. Which one? Pulmonary vein. That's why is it carrying oxygenated blood. This came, what it is of our heart, left. It's not written here. I'll write it. What is this of our heart? Left atrium. Oxygenated blood comes in this. Blood went below from this. Where? Left ventricle. And then heart pushed this blood. Pushed. Where does this blood went? In the body. Which blood is this? Oxygenated. Which is this artery? The main artery, aorta. Where does it take it in the body? That goes near the body, oxygenated blood. Now which blood will come back from the body? Deoxygenated, the blue one. So that came back. It comes from the two sides. That's not visible in the diagram, but in real diagram, it comes from two ways. One comes from vena cava from upper body. What is vena cava, beta? It is vein. What is vena cava, beta? It is vein. Which blood does it bring? One with the carbon dioxide. Vena cava from upper body and vena cava from lower body. Which blood came from both sides? Blood with carbon dioxide came. Where did it reach, beta? It reached right side. Firstly, it come up, right atrium. Where did it push the blood? Right ventricle. Right ventricle pushed the blood and pushed. Where to deliver? Again back to the lungs. This is blood with carbon dioxide. Where will it go? In the lungs. Again, pushed it again. Where did this blood with carbon dioxide went? Towards lungs. Where is this going? It's going away. If it is away, then it is artery, but it's carrying the oxygenated blood, exceptional pulmonary artery. So this is pulmonary artery, took it back. So this is the whole story. Now see this line, you can see it is dividing wall between left side and right side. Is it visible? Red color dividing wall in between this. This is called septum. This separates both the parts. Now this becomes the question. Why 4 chambers in heart? Why are 4 chambers in the heart? By what is the need of 4 chamber? It could have been like this. 2 blood came through it and blood went away. Because beta, we don't want mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Why do we not want it? Because we are the humans, the terrestrial organisms who lives on land. We are warm blood. Warm blooded means we have to maintain the temperature of our body by ourselves. If you throw us in cold room, we keep shivering and warming our bodies on our own, like this, like this. Our body maintain its temperature on its own. And this needs a lot of energy. Means needs a lot of energy, which means respiration should be excellent. This is why we need pure oxygen. That is why we can't tolerate the mixing of the two. This increases the efficiency of our body. The oxygen our body gets the purest oxygen because they both are not mixing. If pure oxygen is available, good energy will be generated inside, the selectiveness will be good. That's why we have 4 chambers in heart. Warm-blooded creatures rate this nicely, such as humans, require a constant high level of oxygen to maintain body temperature. What do we need? Constant high level of oxygen is needed to maintain body temperature and energy requirements. A 4-chamber heart enables that by preventing oxygen-rich and oxygen-poor blood from mixing. Here oxygen-rich, there oxygen-poor. Don't mix it. Since oxygenated blood doesn't mix with deoxygenated blood because it is not mixed, every cell in the body receives the richest possible supply of the oxygen, helping us think, move, digest, and function better. Everyone is getting the most fresh oxygen, not even a little bit mixed. So we are able to perform all the activity. This is the difference between atrium and ventricle. Which one are the ventrium? Above ones. Which are the ventricles? The below ones. Upper chambers of the heart, lower chambers of the heart. How is the wall of atrium? Thin. Look at here. How does the wall of atrium looks? Thin. How is the wall of atrium? Thin. And look how the ventricle wall looks thick. The walls of ventricle, the lower chambers, the wall of ventricle is thick. So atrium's wall is thin and the wall of ventricle are thick and muscular. Why so? Beta, if you'll notice, heart pumps blood from the ventricle every time. Blood comes to lungs from here and went into ventricles. Then it pumped again. Means there will be high pressure. So the walls are thick so that it heart won't burst. Look at here. Blood from vena cava, deoxygenated blood comes in right atrium and then goes in ventricle and then pumped upward from ventricle. Where? In the pulmonary artery and then goes to lungs. So it is getting pumped here. So there will be high pressure. So beta, in ventricle, high pressure blood pumps. That's why their walls are thick. Okay. So what is the ventricle? High pressure. What is in atrium? No pressure. What does atrium do? Receive blood from veins. What does atrium do? Receives the blood. What does ventricle do? Pumps blood to arteries. Look, every time blood comes out from the ventricle, comes out from ventricle, air also ventricle. So ventricle is always connected to artery. Atrium is always connected to vein. Is it? This is also vein, pulmonary vein. This is also vein coming from our body, vena cava. Okay, let's move on further. Now listen carefully. What happened in our body? That process is called double circulation. Why double circulation? Because blood is in heart. Blood enters twice in our heart and comes out twice. Once it came from lungs and went out in the body, then again came from body to heart, then again from heart to the lungs. Meaning it entered once and it entered twice. Went out once and went out twice. That's why we call it double circulation. Blood flows twice through the heart before completing a full circuit. What does it do before the completing of a complete circuit? 2 times flow from the heart. Once it entered in left atrium through lungs and went out, re-entered the body in the right atrium and then went out from right ventricle. So blood enters twice in the heart and comes out twice. That's why double circulation. Blood flows twice. Okay, there are many organisms that have single circulation. Blood passes only once. This is the heart. Blood comes once from here and then goes out from here. Nothing happens. Means that oxygenated and deoxygenated blood is mixed inside them. Oxygenated blood comes from above, deoxygenated goes out, and this blood comes again directly, deoxygenated goes out, and again this come back. This is called single circulation. Okay. Now tell me, why does double circulation occurs? In us question comes, why double circulation? So it's the same thing. We have to keep oxygenated, deoxygenated blood separate. That's why double circulation occurs, because we are warm blooded, because we have to maintain temperature, because we need energy. So bit of few organisms are there, such as fish and all, reptiles and all. They don't have complete double circulation inside them. Their heart do not have 4 chambers. So now we have to read how many chambers are in their heart. So if we talk about birds or mammals, we are also mammals, cow, goat, buffalo, dog, all are mammals. Our heart have 4 chambers. Complete double circulation occurs. How are we? Warm-blooded. If we talk about amphibians, reptiles, their heart have 3 chambers. How do they function? Don't know. It's not in our syllabus. They have partial double circulation, little double circulation. How are they? Cold-blooded. Our fishes, what are they? They are aquatic fishes. Their heart only have 2 chambers. Only 2 chambers in the heart. Only 2 chambers comes in one, goes out from other. What happens in this single circulation? How are they? Cold-blooded. So remember, fishes and all the aquatic, reptiles and all, double circulation does not occur in them properly. Double circulation occurs in birds and mammals. Why does it happen? Understood that. Okay. Now look, we have a question was asked in board. CBSE 25, 23, 22, 20, 20. This is our similar question is coming. Which of the following statement is are true about the human heart? Which statement is true? Right atrium receives oxygenated blood. Okay, I'll have to draw. So I have to draw it. This is very easy. So I draw this divided into 4 parts. Left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium and right ventricle. So let's see and understand. Right atrium receives oxygenated blood from lungs. It says right atrium receives oxygenated blood from lungs. Wrong. Right side with the oxygenated blood. Left atrium transfers oxygenated blood to left ventricle, which sends it to various parts of the body. Left atrium transfer oxygenated blood to left ventricle, which transfers it to different parts of the body. This is perfectly correct. B is completely correct to me, isn't it? Left atrium transfer oxygen blood to left ventricle, which sends it. Okay. Right atrium receives deoxygenated blood through vena cava from upper and lower body. What does the right atrium gets? Deoxygenated blood from whom? Vena cava, the main vein. Perfectly correct. C also looks correct to me. D. Left atrium transfers oxygenated blood to aorta. Left atrium transfers oxygenated blood to nobile. This is done by left ventricle. So B and C are correct. This option is correct. Okay, let's move on. Next, 2024, 22, 20, 19. This is our similar question. First reason, the muscular walls of the ventricle are thicker than those of the atria. The lower walls are thicker than above. Why? Because blood is pumped from below. There is high pressure in the lower side. The walls of ventricles are thicker than the walls of atria because ventricles have to pump blood with greater pressure. Arteries have thick and elastic walls. The walls of arteries are thick. Those of veins are thick. Why? Because where do they carry blood? Where do arteries carry the blood? Away from the heart, means from heart. So how will blood flow from heart? At high pressure. That is why they are thick. Arteries carry blood from heart at high pressure. So they have thick and elastic walls. Circulation of blood in aquatic vertebrates differs from that in terrestrial vertebrates. What's in aquatic vertebrates? Double circulation does not occur. Single circulation or partial double circulation. Why? Because they are cold-blooded. They don't have to maintain the body temperature. So that is what is written. You can read it. Okay. Now there's one more small system, lymphatic system. How does it form? From the limbs. What is lymph beta? That are blood's thin capillaries. Many times from it, blood components leaked and fell outwards. Which things leak down? Keep in mind. First, our plasma goes away, some protein and some blood cells. Majorly white blood cells leaks out. This is also called lymphocytes. So a lot of lymphocytes leaks from it. That's why it got the name lymph. So all these things that leak, the things that fell after leaking is called lymph. Firstly, some plasma is there, some protein, some blood cells, white blood cells are there, lymphocytes, so got the name lymph. Notice that red blood cells are not there. That's why lymph is colorless, not of the right color. Okay. It is a colorless fluid, contains less protein than blood. These are its two difference from the blood. That are two difference from the blood. Firstly, this is colorless, and secondly, less protein than blood. Now, lymph is the part of lymphatic system. Say this green, which is visible. What is this? It's lymphatic system. What are these? They are the vessels of the lymph. Lymph flows into lymphatic capillaries in the thin capillaries, which join to form large lymph vessels. But these lymphs never connect to a heart. What happens is goes to finally and combine with veins. These vessels finally merge into larger veins, so they don't connect with the heart. This is also its difference from the blood or blood vessels, that it doesn't connect with the heart. these merge into the veins. What are their functions? First, to carry digested and absorb fat from the intestine. Second is to drain the excess fluid back into the blood. Third, lymph contains lymphocytes, WBCs, that help defend the body against the infection. So remember three functions: to carry digested and absorb fat to the intestine, to drain the excess fluid, and to keep lymphocytes, that is fight with the infection. So see, there is a question 24, 22. This is our similar question. What is lymph? What is lymph? Lake component of the blood. Tell them. And how does it differ from the blood? I told the difference too. My next is transportation in plants. Now the plants don't need a fast transportation. Plants need a slow transportation. Why is that so? I understood one thing. Plants don't have to move. They don't have to walk like us, like animals. So for them, there is slow transport system. It's a long one. It's a slow, but it's long. Plants are very big. The trees are very big. So it's a long transportation system, but slow. Why is it slow? First, because they don't have to move. Second, there is another thing. Many plants of the plant are dead. So no need to carry anything there. Slow transportation system. First, plants do not move. Why is there slow transportation system? First thing, the plants don't move. Second, have a large proportion of dead cells in many tissues. Many of their cells are already dead. So hence they have low energy needs and use slow transport system, but transport distance can be very large. Now in plants beta, the transport system is divided into two different kinds of tubes. First tube or vessel is xylem. What does the xylem transport? Water. Basically water and minerals too. Who carries the water and minerals? Xylem. And the food, etc., amino acids, etc., especially the food. Who carries it? Phloem. So water is carried by xylem, food is carried by phloem. Okay, now listen to this thing. Where does the water come from? Of course, it comes from the roots. So see, this is a xylem. Water came from the roots. Once again, this is xylem. Water came from the roots. Here it went to the leaves. Water went upwards. So this xylem, it's transporting only in one direction, always upwards. From roots, the water came and it go to the leaves and different parts of the plant. It's a unidirectional flow. Xylem only carries the water or the minerals mixed in the water. But if I talk about the phloem beta, so what is the phloem carrying? It's carrying the food. Where is the food made? In the leaves, etc. So what happened there? Food, etc. was made. This food left from the leaves. Now this has to go in the both ways. It would go upwards in the tree. It would also go downwards. What is down there? It went downwards to the roots and all. For the roots too, it's very important by to nourish and nature. So this flow of food in the phloem, it's bidirectional in both the direction, upward to, downward to. But the flow of the water in the xylem, that's unidirectional. So the same thing is written. What is transported in the xylem? Water and minerals. What's transported in the phloem? Food, amino acid, and other substance. What is xylem's transport like? Unidirectional, upward from roots to aerial parts. What is phloem transport like? Bidirectional, by the food which is made has to go in both ways. So both upward and downward. So phloem on both sides. This difference is very important. It can come. Third point. The xylem transport, the transport of water, it happens with a physical process. Physical process means we don't need any energy from outside. It happens with the physical forces. Two physical forces will be laid now. One would be root pressure and another transpiration. Leave it for now. Understand it simply now. Physical force. It doesn't need any energy from the outside. To carry the water, no external energy is required. But the transport of phloem, the transport of the food, it requires energy. What form is the energy in? In the form of ATP. So this is an active transport, requires energy in the form of ATP. And if I talk about it, then what kind of transport is it? Let's write it here. What kind of transport is it? It's a passive transport. This is a passive transport, so there is no need of energy here. To carry the water, here is no need of energy. What did I do? I told total tissues if it asks in exams. First, xylem, xylem vessels, and tracheids. For the phloem, one is sieve tubes and one is companion cell. So remember these two if they ask you in exam. Basically, what does the xylem carry? Water. What does the phloem carry? Food. From where would the xylem carry the water? Always upwards from the roots, unidirectional. From where the phloem would carry the food? From the leaf to everywhere, bidirectional. Xylem does not require energy. These are two physical forces we will study later, root pressure and transpiration. Phloem needs energy for the transportation of the food. So this is active transport, that is passive transport. Come now, let's study those physical forces which make the transport of water happen, with which the xylem transport happens. So transport of water through xylem. There are two forces. One is root pressure, one is transpiration. So the first is root pressure. What is root pressure? By roots are buried in the soil. What are the roots? They are buried in the soil like this. Suppose this is our soil. So now what happens in the soil? There are lot of minerals, nitrogen, phosphorus, etc. These minerals go into the roots. Okay, these are roots. What went into the roots? Minerals went, nitrogen, phosphorus, etc., etc. So what happened in the roots? The minerals, that is salts, concentration increased, and in the soil, the salt concentration decreased. Put the osmosis theory to it once. What is there in it? There is more salt in it. If the salts are more, and what would be the water here? It would definitely be less. Here, if the salts are less, then water is more. So what did the water go into through osmosis? In the roots. Exactly, NCERT doesn't write osmosis, it writes root pressure. So let's see. Roots take up ions from soil, which creates difference in the concentration of these ions. Ions means salts. It took the ions of salts. Water from soil moves into the roots. Why? Because there salt is more, so the water is less. The soil, the salts are less, water is more, salt went up. Okay. There is a constant movement of water into the root xylem, and water is steadily pushed upwards. So this is our root pressure. What causes a difference in concentration of salts or difference in concentration of ions? You can call it anything. Second is transpiration. Transpiration is very simple, beta. The upper parts of the tree, the aerial parts, the upper parts, they are continuously losing water. Why? Evaporation, there's sunlight. So the aerial parts of the plant keep losing water due to evaporation. Now think, water is being lost continuously, but every part needs the water. So water's deficiency is created. If the deficiency is created, then the pull is created that give the water. We call this pull transpiration pull. Let's read it. Transpiration. The loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial parts of the plant is called transpiration. What is transpiration? From the aerial part of the plant, from the upper part, loss of water is happening. Why is it happening? How is the loss of water happening? In the form of water vapor. Evaporation is happening, right? From the aerial parts of the plant is called transpiration. Now, what is the role of transpiration? Because of this, a transpiration pool is created. Absorption and upward movement of water and minerals from the roots to leaves. Why this happening? By the water got decreased above. So what was created? A transpirational pool got created. By here, the water is decreased. So it absorbed from the below, which came from the root pressure. It brought it more upwards. Absorption and upward movement of water and minerals from roots to leaves. It absorbed from below. Give water to the leaves by, give the leaves some salt by, because we are continuously losing it. What transpiration actually is? Transpiration is loss of water from aerial parts of the plant in the form of water vapor. Now that the water is lost, a deficiency is created. So a pull is generated, transpiration pull, and because of that, water is pulled. Secondly, there is another function of transpiration. First is pulled the water because of the pull. Where? Into the leaves and all. Secondly, what's the function? Better, when the evaporation happens, then you must have studied evaporation causes cooling. So it also regulates the temperature. The tree is feeling very hot. When we feel hot, we sweat. When the tree felt hot, it lost the water. So what happened with that? Cooling happened. Temperature regulation, cooling due to evaporation. Okay. Understand one more thing, that in the daytime, most of the water transportation happens due to transpiration. Root pressure is working and the transpiration too, but it's more due to the transpiration. In the night, will the transpiration happen? No, in the night, there will be no water loss, there will be no sunlight. So in the night, only the root pressure works. Daytime, major force is transpiration pull. Of course, in the daytime, there is root pressure too. But what is the major force? Transpiration. At the night time, there is no transpiration. So there is night time, there is only root pressure. So two things, root pressure and transpiration are clear. If you have to make the water reach aerial part, then the transpiration would need it, because the root took the water from soil and brought it a little above. When the water was lost from above, then a vacuum, a gap was formed, transpiration pull, with which, where did the water reach? From roots to leaves. Okay. So this carrying of the water from here and there, what do we call it? We call it transpiration of root pressure through the xylem. We call the movement of food translocation. Transport of food is called translocation. Who does it? The phloem does it. Okay. Pay attention, the movement of the food is most important in downward, towards the roots. Where else it's important? For the fruits it's important. Why? Because fruits is infant and infants need the more food always. The transfer of food from the leaves to other parts of the plant is called translocation. From where the food would go? It's made in the leaf photosynthesis. So the transfer of food from leaves to other parts of the plant is called translocation. Phloem translocates the food made in the leaves. These substances are especially delivered into the storage organs of the roots, fruits, seeds, and to the growing organs. Mostly made by roots, fruits needs it, and seeds needed the babies and growing organs. Okay. Okay, see the question 2024, 2022, 2019, 2018, similar questions are coming. The process in which the transport of soluble products, what is it? Soluble products means food is being talked about, food. Of photosynthesis, soluble products, photosynthesis means food. Takes place in plants is known as transpiration, beta. This is done by water, evaporation. This is to transpiration. Conduction, no, translocation, food. Okay. Next, beta, say this one, a diagram is given. What is asked? Observe the following diagram and identify the process and its significance from the following options. Now tell me this, which process is happening? From the aerial part, loss of water vapor is happening. From the aerial part, loss of water vapor means transpiration. So transpiration creates a suction force which pulls water inside the plant. Transpiration happened, a suction force was created and it pulled water up. This question has come a lot of times. Okay. Our last process is the excretion, means to throw the waste out. But don't connect it to the number 2. That is called egestion. NCERT doesn't talk about it, but let me tell you, egestion and excretion are different. We have to study excretory system in human beings. Here we would mostly talk about throwing the nitrogen waste out. Urea and uric acid. We'll talk about these two waste which we threw out. So in human beings, the excretory system offers removal of harmful metabolic waste, mainly urea and uric acid from the body is called excretion. Okay, its definition doesn't come though. The excretory system of human being include in our excretory system, what all happens? See carefully by. In our excretory system, there are 2 kidneys. The main function of the kidney, can you see this? A bean-like shape. These are kidneys. Kidney. What's the main function of kidney? To filter the blood, to remove the urea from the blood, to remove uric acid and send it through urine. Here happens the filtration. Okay. Then after that you will see ureter. Here are the 2 thin tubes. This 2 thin tubes. These are the ureters. What do the ureters do from the kidneys? From the kidneys they take the urine. From means they take the waste. Where do they collect it? In this. This is the bag. This is called urinary bladder. Urinary bladder. Upon going here, the urine gets collected. When sufficient urine is collected, then to our nervous system with our control, through our muscular control, through this pipe, this is called urethra. What do we call it? Urethra. Through the urethra, we throw it out. And this bag, what do we call it? Urinary bladder. So these are all the components of our excretory system. See, these are written. What's the first thing? That's the kidney. Kidney, nitrogenous waste such as urea and uric acid are filtered from blood through kidneys. So what's the main function of kidneys? Better to keep filtering the blood, to remove the waste, to remove urea, uric acid. Then we have pair of ureters. These thin tubes, ureters. What do? They take the urine from the kidney and where do they put in? In the urinary bladder. What do? Connects the kidney with the urinary bladder. Then we have a urinary bladder. What does it store? It stores the urine. Urine is stored in urinary bladder until it's passed out. Don't be say, or your bladder is full, or why doesn't I feel like pressure is building? What is that? Urinary bladder is full with the urine. So what is it? It's muscular. It's under nervous control. It's in control of your nervous system. But it's not like you are standing and urine is coming out. It happens sometime. It is a disease. Then what is in last? Urethra. Transport urine out of the body. A thin tube urethra. By this urethra, the urine gets out. State the function of each of the following in the human excretory system. See, the question has come many times. Similar question like this is coming a lot of times. Kidneys function to filter the blood, to remove the urea and uric acid. Ureter to connect the kidney with the urinary bladder, or to bring urine from the kidney to urinary bladder. What does it bring? Urine. So it brings the urine from kidney to urinary bladder. What does the urinary bladder do? Stores the urine until it is passed out. It is muscular and under nervous control. Remember this word, muscular under nervous control. Okay. Now let's understand that how does the kidney filter the blood. So beta, the kidney that you saw here, you have seen the 2 kidney with us. Yeah. So the 2 kidneys that you just saw, we are about to get inside of these kidneys. When we saw these kidneys from the inside, the tiny, it's made of millions of tiny units, which are called nephrons. Now you think of kidney as a big sieve. It is a sieve. It's a filtering the blood. So kidney is a very big sieve which is made by tiny sieves. Name of those tiny sieves is nephrons. So what are the nephrons? The structural and functional unit of kidney. The most basic structural and functional unit. Each kidney has millions of nephrons. There are lot of nephrons. Better nephrons look like this. The yellow color thing like to see. This is nephron. So here it is circular and there is tubular part of it. One cup shaped part of it would be seen and one you will see the tube part. The yellow one that you see, that is nephron. The yellow one that you see, that is nephron. This might be visible to you. There is a cup like and one is tube like part. So what is nephron beta? It's the smallest unit of our kidney. Okay. Now what happened? From our body, the blood came. Blood came to the kidney and said, filter us. So where did the blood come from? From the body, from the heart. Blood came from everywhere. It means the artery carried the blood. The artery which brings the blood to the kidney, its name is renal artery. Look here, it's made. Here it is made. This, look at this. This one which is bringing, this which is artery, renal artery. Renal beta is used for the kidney. So what is the renal artery doing? The oxygenated blood. It's oxygenated, but it has urea, uric acid and nitrogen waste. Kidney animal doesn't play with the oxygen carbon dioxide game. Lungs do that. What does it do? Nitrogenous waste, it removes urea, uric acid, etc. So this renal artery, the oxygenated blood but impure blood in which there is waste, impurity, it brought that to the kidney. Now when the renal artery to the kidney, the artery which? Kidney. When it comes to the kidney, then it gets divided into thin capillaries. Suppose we are inside a kidney right now. So from there the renal artery entered and thin capillaries, it got divided. This we call branch of renal artery. Here you see this is visible. Branch of renal artery. You can call this capillary as well. So the thin capillaries came and one by thin capillaries, where did they go? They went into each nephrons. There are millions of nephrons here right now. We are inside the kidney. From outside a renal artery came which brought the waste. It got divided into thin tubes, that is into thin capillaries. And each capillary went where? In each nephron. So see this, a capillary came working and it went inside the nephron. This, in the circular part of the nephron, in the cup part. Now this, the capillary which came here, upon coming here like this bunch, it made a bunch. This bunch which was formed, we call it glomerulus. Remember the word? What do we call it? Glomerulus. The bunch which was formed, it came from there, all thin capillaries. One capillary went into one nephron. Going inside one nephron, it made a bunch. And this bunch which was formed of what? Of the capillary, of a branch of the renal artery which brought the blood. This bunch which was formed, it is called glomerulus. Glomerulus, you can see that is placed in nephrons. Cup-shaped part. In a cup-shaped, you can say it's covered. We call this cup Bowman's capsule. What do we call it? Bowman's capsule. So what is glomerulus? Cluster of blood vessels. What is it by? Cluster of blood vessel. It's a cluster of a lot of blood vessel. And if you see what is Bowman's capsule, cup-shaped structure in each nephron that surrounds glomerulus and collects the filtrate. Now this is a cup-shaped structure which is there in every nephron. And what is there inside it? It's glomerulus. It covers it. And what does glomerulus do here? Removes the waste. So where is all the waste collected? In the Bowman's capsule, the waste is collected, this is written, and collects the filtrate. Filtrate means it collected the dirt. Now this waste which is collected, it sent it to the tube. See, there are two sections of nephron. One is cup and another the tube. So it sent it to the conducting tube. Okay. The process that happened, this is called glomerular filtration. This glomerular filtration. What happened in this by? Nitrogenous waste like urea, uric acid, glucose, water, amino acid, excessive salt, all of this got filtered from the blood. What all that come out of here? Urea, uric acid, excess water is also there in blood. When you urinate, there is water in it. So a lot of water came out. There is a salts, so much salts came out. There is some glucose, so the glucose came out. There are amino acids, so amino acids. So everything came out in the process of Glomerulus filtration. What is glomerulus? So many thin branches of renal artery. What is it? It's a bunch. It's a cluster. Okay. The filtrate came out here. This is called glomerular filtration. Okay. Now all this has came out. After coming out, all of this going to become urine. This also has excess water in it. It flowed with water. What is all in it? Glucose is there, water is there, excessive salt is there, nitrogenous waste. All of went into tube. Now as soon as goes into tube, this branch of renal artery which came, the one that came from here and went out from here, it suddenly realized, yaar, did I live too much, yaar? Are yaar, the salt is gone, the water is gone, the glucose is gone. Are yaar, this too of bronze when capsulated us. We need everything back. So now this renal artery, now it has started to follow the tube. This tube, this nephron, it's saying give it back to us. We made a mistake, give it back, please, give it back, please. It said that we made a mistake, give it back, It said, okay, take it back. So these tube parts, what does they do? They say, you want glucose, take it back. Okay, you have given extra water, take it back. Okay, salt, take it back. Urea, uric acid, I won't give, I have to remove that. This is called selective reabsorption. Who does it? This branch of renal artery. What does it do? It keeps hovering around the tube and says, we let the too much of things go there. Water, give us back. Glucose, give us back. Salt, give us back. So they give it. This is called selective reabsorption. Useful substances like glucose, amino acids, salts, and a major amount of water from the filtrate are reabsorbed back by capillaries surrounded by the nephron. These thin capillaries, they have again reabsorbed some of the things again. Now all the reabsorption has happened. Once again, the nephron asked from the tiny branches, are you satisfied now? Can I pee now? Can we remove everything? They said, yes, why? So first of the glomerular filtration happened. Everything got removed here. Glucose, water, salt, urea, amino acid, everything got removed. Then they thought too much of it got removed. So they surrounded and said, give it back. What happened? Selective reabsorption. It took back glucose, excess water, salt, amino acid, all back, except urea and uric acid. Now this tube said, let's remove all the other things. It's collecting the said that let me remove the rest of the waste. So what got out? Urea, uric acid, some water would come out too, some salt too, some amino acid also left got out. Tubular secretion, last part. Urea, extra water and salts are secreted into tubule which open up to the collecting duct and then to ureter. From here where did they go? In the ureter. And ureter, this is the kidney now. They are inside the kidney. Now we got out of the kidney, ureters, collecting tubes got connected, and where would the urine go now? In the urinary bladder. Okay. So there are three steps you remember inside the kidney. There are three steps of the nephron. First, glomerular filtration. In there everything got removed. Second, selective reabsorption. Glucose, water, amino acid returned. And third, tubular secretion, with which finally we take the urine out, got through the ureter. It asks the three steps. Okay, let's move ahead. One more thing comes. The amount of water reabsorbed depends on. Now the capillaries which were moving around it like this, what would they do? They reabsorb again. Here coming to Bowman's capsule, it lost everything in the glomerulus. Then they said too much is lost, so they hovered around there. So how much water would they reabsorb again? It depends on two things. It asks in the board. First, amount of water present in body. How much water is present in the body? If there is enough, then don't absorb, let it go. If there is less, then absorb. Second, how much salt is getting out? By salt won't be removed like this. If it would need water with it. So if more salt is getting out, more water would go. If less salt is getting out, less water would go. According to that, the water would be reabsorbed. So amount of excess water in body, amount of dissolved waste to be excreted. Dissolved waste means dissolved salts which are getting out. It can't go out like this, it needs water. So if salts are more, then they would need more water. Reabsorption would be less. Okay. Next is CBSE 2024, 22, 20, IT. In similar question like this, we have come a lot of time. How is urine produced in the human body? Explain the basic process of urine formation. So the same three steps you have to tell. Glomerular filtration, selective reabsorption, tubular secretion. Okay. Last beta asks, okay, there's one more. 2025, 2022. Similar question. Write one specific function of each of the following. First of all, renal artery. What does the inner artery do, beta? Brings oxygenated blood with waste to kidneys for filtration. Renal artery brought it where? To the kidney. Urethra, what does the urethra does? Helps in urine removal from the body. Urethra is the totally last part. Okay. Glomerulus, what does glomerulus do, beta? Your nitrogenous waste, your urea, uric acid, your glucose, it filters all of them. Nitrogenous waste, glucose, water, amino acid, excessive salt from the blood are filtered with help of it. What is the part of the tubular part of nephron? There is a tubular part. One part of it is Bowman's capsule 1, where there is glomerulus, and one is tubular part. What is the role? Its role is to help in selective reabsorption and in tubular secretion in two things. Helps in selective reabsorption of glucose and major amount of water back to capillaries. Along with it, beta, it helps in tubular secretion too. Okay. Last is beta our artificial kidney. So what happens in kidney if it doesn't work properly? It gets damaged. So artificial kidney is used. In artificial kidney, remember one thing, selective reabsorption doesn't happen. So no reabsorption involved. An artificial kidney removes nitrogenous-based products from the blood through dialysis. One more thing they ask in it, that the dialysing fluid, it asks one more thing. In the dialysing fluid, there is same osmotic pressure as blood without nitrogenous waste. This is the most asked in the question in this. Last is our excretion in plants. So how do the plants excrete? You have read it so many times in this chapter. Think a little carefully. Plants have the stomata. What can be done by opening and closing it? The exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide can be done. Exchange of water can be also be done by it. So first of all, oxygen and carbon dioxide by diffusion through stomata is done. Second thing, suppose if plants have to remove water, then they have to remove the excess water. Then how would they remove it? Transpiration. So transpiration beta also does the job of excretion. Remember this. Transpiration also do the work of excretion. Excess water through transpiration from aerial part got out. Shedding of old leaves, we shook it. What is this? Excretion. Plants also secrete some base substance into the soil around them, some base substance into the soil. So the first thing is, how does the plant gases exchange? Through the stomata. How does it remove the water? Transpiration. And shed the leaves, etc. If it has to remove some salts and all them, what does it do? It puts them into the soil. Here, beta, this chapter of yours ends. If you actually understood this chapter, then write it down below. Enjoyed it a lot. Keep studying. All the very best.